Hey guys, welcome to Arsenal 101, episode 28. And today is the big day. We're going to be previewing the Manchester City game versus Arsenal this Wednesday on the 17th. And obviously, for you guys who are regulars to the channel, welcome very much. Thank you. Good to see you in the chat room. And please also join us for the after game. Yeah, we're having an after game podcast on Wednesday, which will be 10 o'clock. So that'll be a lot of fun, and then we can actually talk about how we battered Man City or how we just didn't turn up. So that'll be a lot of fun. I was going to do a watch along, but you know what? I can't be bothered. I'd rather talk about the game itself, and I'd rather spend time enjoying it because I don't want you lot hearing me screaming like a 10-year-old girl while I'm watching the game. So I just want to introduce my panel. Thank you very much, Casey. My son just bought me, look, he's so good, man. My son just bought me a big glass of orange juice. So welcome to the panel. Bertram, how you been, man? How's the week been?
I am doing well. The week has been drama as usual in the US. So Corona was all the news, and all of a sudden, even though a number of states still seeing spike in the virus, it's taken a backseat to the protests and demonstration. And just when we thought the protest was leveling out, we had a shooting in Atlanta, which has created, even though that shooting, I'm sure they'll say eventually was justified, given the facts and circumstances. But it still goes to show the disregard for human life and the fact that if you're a trained person in either the military or any police force, any law enforcement force, it's your job to recognize situation, understand how to manage it, and understand how to de-escalate. And escalation is just not it's something that seems to be the norm nowadays, whether it's protesters who are being treated in harsh manner just by engaging the police, or people getting shot and getting killed, or with their knee in their neck. So not the best situation. Hopefully we will have meaningful change. I hear a lot. I just watched the Chappelle special.
Yes, yeah, I messaged you about it this morning.
Yes, I watched the special when it first came out, and watched it sort of twice in a sense. I mean, obviously, that was the focus of the special, but it didn't tell us anything we didn't know, except to say he, like everyone else, expressed outrage and sort of expressed that sentiment, which is hopefully we'll see meaningful change come off this. I will say, though, the one thing that I've thought about is that sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and history will look upon you favorably. So if you think about, John Carlos in Mexico, if you think about Muhammad Ali subsequently, think about even more recently Kaepernick and all the grief that he took. All those individuals who speak out against injustice, history sort of looks upon them favorably. Those who do not and are prominent actually will not be as recognized and as valued going forward as those individuals who may not have the same, especially in entertainment, the same level of notoriety or accomplishments, but are going to be much more revered as time progresses. So not everyone needs to be a martyr. So yeah,
I think the good thing about it is, and I don't want to spend too long on this because we got a lot to get through, man. But what's really good on it is, I think the Dave Chappelle. What's good, Tony, man? How you doing? The Dave Chappelle thing went straight to Don Lennon on CNN, and obviously I love Dave Chappelle. I watch a lot of Don Lennon on CNN, and Don Lennon was called out by Dave Chappelle because Don Lennon tried to call out the black stars and the black activists. And what Dave Chappelle said in terms of, bro, I've been talking about this for decades. I don't need to say nothing because right now the people are out there voicing and making a change, not the stars. And when he said that, I was like, he is so right, because this thing has taken a life of its own. Why does it need stars to come in? And believe me, some stars will be doing this for hits or likes or just to build up their brand in this pandemic, which, let's face it, stars have been put to the side. They're not important because, these people who the media praises and have tons of millions of followers, they are blessed in our society. This isn't about them. And I would see this for some of these stars to take this opportunity and get their name out there. And that's really what Chappelle is not saying. Chappelle's saying stars who were talking about this before don't need to say nothing. and only the ones that are looking to reap the rewards of getting their name spoken about in the media are the ones that will come out and say, yeah, Black Lives Matter, yeah, let's get on the back of this. And, you know, some people have been in the crowds marching and they have not posted on Twitter or Instagram or nothing because they're not looking for any, they're not looking for any praise out of this. They're just looking to do what's right. So I think Chappelle had a brilliant answer, and Don Lennon had to hold his hand up and say, bro, I agree. I'm sorry. I called people out, and really, it doesn't apply to everybody. African Guna, how are you getting on? How's your week?
Good, busy week for me at work. It's been quite a handful. And in terms of, I remember last week you were asking me about Black Lives Matter and the, I guess, protests in South Africa. It seems to have picked up. I think there were a couple this week, so that's good to see. But all in all, I think it's good that we're coming down to the business end. Thank you everyone for joining in the comments. Things are getting pretty serious. It's not just podcasts now. It's a podcast with really 3 days to go before Arsenal play, which for me is super exciting. And I mean, regardless of if we win or lose, I'm just super excited to see the boys come out and play. So exciting.
Excellent. Ebony, how's your week been?
Yeah, my week's been good. I've been doing my radio shows, which you must come on. Also, last week, I think, I went on a protest. I went on the BLM protest. That was peaceful. I've not had much time for protest this week because I've been busy. But yeah, I'm on annual leave. And I'm just waiting for the next protest, really, because we're, as you know, in this country, things have gotten a bit worse with regards to, BLM had cancelled their protest, but then, the right-wing racists have decided to come in and protect British heritage. At the same time, there was a peaceful protest in Trafalgar Square. So people don't really know about that, or people who do know about that aren't the ones who work for the media. But yeah, otherwise, everything's been great. It's been good.
And Tony, good to see you back, Tony. Looking forward to today. How's your week been, mate?
It's been a quiet one, in all honesty. A lot of contemplating, a lot of research. It's been one where, I think this applies to a lot of Black people. We've had a lot of time to look at our plane, our vista, and see, what is ahead of us, what's behind us, what is outside of us.
I think your mic is a bit quiet. You need to come closer to the mic, Tony.
Sorry, guys. So yeah, we've been able to sort of spend some time looking at what the situation is, how it's been playing out in the media, elsewhere, talking to other Black people, talking to white people, talking to friends, talking to family, and just kind of getting our heads around what exactly we are experiencing at this time. And I feel it's a very key moment. A lot of major opportunities are currently in front of us as a nation. Both the United States and the United Kingdom have got a lot of very big questions to ask. And we can see globally that, there are lots of things happening. The mere fact that you can see countries, not just the UK, not just America, tearing down statues of imperial colonization. You're like, wow, that's a big step. That's a massive step.
And think about it, 7 days ago when the police, 4 policemen were officially charged and had their charges upgraded, we all thought, well, not all of us thought, but the media thought, this is it. They got what they wanted. It's done. Now we can go back to our lives. But actually, that's not true, is it, Tony? This is just the start of something that's going through. And I've had a lot of things to say about the millennials and this generation. But boy, they're like a dog with a bone. They're not going to let this go. They want change.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very encouraging that we've seen, some of this huge unification of of strength between peoples now, where we can see people united together, standing against injustice against, oppressed people.
Good. Well, guys, let's kick off with our first topic because we got quite a few to get through to. Our main topic is going to be looking at the Manchester City versus Arsenal game this Wednesday, and we're going to be previewing that. We're going to be going through our starting 11, and I'm going to change it up. We're not actually going to name our starting 11. We're going to vote for our starting 11. So whoever comes out tops, that's going to be the team who we're going to go with. We are also going to look at the game tactically as well. I did hope I was going to get a Man City fan on here, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It's just a shame. I will try and get him onto the after show on Wednesday. Wednesday, boy, that Wednesday show is going to be fire, man. Whether we win, draw, or lose, it's going to be a very emotional show because we're actually going to be talking about what has happened in the game, player ratings, and things like that. So I cannot wait for Wednesday night. I know some of you guys normally can't make Wednesday, but I hope that you can. So we'll see what we can do. Dan's going to be around on Wednesday as well. So let's go into our first topic. Our first topic is, as you guys know, and we're here covering the Arsenal news over the last few days. The big one, obviously, is Upamecano. Again, they're saying agreed terms. Now, let's put this into perspective. This is broken from French outlet Telefoot, who has spoken to the manager, and they got a really good relationship with the owner as well of Leispeg. And they have said that the owner has gone on record and said that he has recently received a proposal from Arsenal and they're having discussions with the club. So the proposal, we don't know what that is. We know the release clause is about 43 million. But Upamecano, I did watch his game yesterday. They drawed 1-1, and he didn't look great. I mean, he's 21 years old. For me, he's another Rob Holding. When Rob Holding was playing for Arsenal and really had some stud-like games, that's where this guy is right now in his career. And he looks decent, but yesterday he was very clumsy. He got 2 yellow cards and ended up getting sent off. So I want to get you guys' opinion on what's actually going on there. Do you think that this is a deal that we should look forward to having? We have 9 centre-backs with Saliba coming back. Bertram, let's start with you on this one.
Well, I've seen him play. I'm not totally sold, I have to admit. I know he's 21. I've seen Saliba play, and I'm sold. I'm not totally sure about him. He seems to be very aggressive, does make mistakes. And right now, we're trying to make top 4 next year. We're not trying to groom and nurture anyone. We need ready-made talent. If we don't have the person in the team already or part of our academy setup, we don't need to be grooming and tutoring. So if you're going to buy somebody for a decent price, they should come ready-made. Having said that, I don't think we should rush into the transfer market, actually. We just let some deals get done first to see what people are paying, what prices are. Because given the virus, people won't have that much money to spend. And if first release clause is 40 million, I think that's too much for any player in today's market, unless you're the elite players. So I think we should be patient.
So Bertrand, I'll explain why this deal is being rushed and why the discussions are going on, not just with Upamecano, but with Thomas Partey as well. The reason why is because their contract clauses end on the 30th of June. So if they don't start to negotiate personal terms, then that clause is gone. And then the team can ask for 90, 100 million for the player. That's the reason why these things happen.
The only question is, what can we afford? There are numbers being spilled out about how much money we have. I am doubting we have a lot of money to spend. We had a loss last year. Revenues have been cut back significantly this year, given the virus. And we're going to have some other deferred payments scheduled again that has to be paid up at some point in the future. You can't sacrifice the now for tomorrow in some instances. Now, I'm sure people say the Adidas deal is kicking in. We'll get people back in the stands to get revenue from concession and from attendance. You have to be very careful about how much money you're going to be deferring over time to come back to bite you. And I'm not sure he's a need or a want, frankly. I mean, we have a ton of center back. Now, they all are pretty good, but Saliba is very good. You match him with one of the younger players, a Chambers or David Luiz for a while. You have Mari for on the cheap. They may not be optimum, but at least they'd be a stopgap until we can afford at some point in time to go out and get that elite center back. There's no Van Dijks out there.
I mean, I'd be happy with William Saliba and Chambers, to be honest with you. Where are they going to put a stud? And he's not actually a stud yet. As you said, he's a player that we're thinking about grooming because he's only 21. The African Guna, what's your thoughts on Upamecano?
Yeah, I actually have a couple of thoughts. The first one in regards to what Bertram has said, definitely a need. Definitely a need. I mean, we're relying on, again, defenders. I know we have 9, as you mentioned, but out of those 9, I mean, how many of them are really world-class or even above average defenders? To me, maybe 1 or 2. And yeah, so for me, I mean, I know a lot of people, and this is the funny part about our fan base. I mean, a year ago, we were all drooling over him when we were, linked to him. And now that we've actually, agreed personal terms, and let's hold our horses. And as someone said in the comments, right? I mean, we've been in this situation many times before when we've apparently signed a player, but honestly, it's just rumors at the moment. But in terms of being a need, 100% a need, I think Upamecano, although he's young, he's an upcoming French center back, and I think a partnership between him and Saliba will be phenomenal. The thing with him is that he's physical, he's tall. He's an all-round player, and he's a modern center back for me. So I'm really excited at the prospect of him. I would really like him at Arsenal, but at the moment I'm holding my horses because, as I said before, we've been here many times. Benzema, I mean, Higuain, the list goes on and on of how many times we've actually, bought a player and then it doesn't materialize. So for now, I'm keeping my head low. If we get him, I think phenomenal signing. Go straight into our first team. I think better than Rob Holding, better than Pablo Mari, better than any center back we have so far. So
wow,
really exciting. And to be honest, I think that we should go for him now because I think it doesn't really matter. I mean, Bertram was saying we should see what other clubs are paying. I don't give a crap about what other clubs are spending. I want him. So Arsenal need to go and get him, and that's it. Our center back or defensive issues kind of sorted, at least for the next couple of seasons, in my opinion. Him and Saliba for the next 3-4 years can form a solid partnership, and we can focus on different areas of the pitch. And that's
So I just want to give everybody a shout out. So shout out to 18, shout out to James, Simpy, great to see you. And please guys, shout out Simpy's channel, another new Arsenal channel that's doing really well. And he's in collaboration as well with Sam. So please check him out and give him a like and subscribe to his channel. Big shout out to Arron as well. I hope you enjoyed your birthday, Arron. Big time, mate. And also big shout out to Trading Guy, big supporter of the African Guna. So listen, your boy's here and your boy's preaching today, my friend. Carlito, good to see you, mate. We share a lot of views, man. I don't know, some people might think you're my second account. We share a lot of views. You've already said, again, you think a defensive midfielder like Partey should be a priority, and again, 100% agree. Also, don't think that one cornerback, no matter how good they are, centre-back, would improve the defence. And again, he said, African Guna, how many times have you watched Lightsberg and Upamecano? Yeah, I think he sometimes he's a bit shaky, but it is what it is. I was going to say what Carletto said is Koulibaly is a ready-made. I mean, he's just a stud. What the last 2 games I've watched him, he's just balling out right now. And if I'm going to spend 43 million up on Upamecano, I'm not doing it. I'm selling Maitland-Niles. I'm getting 20 million, and I'm using the rest of the money to just go and get Koulibaly. Koulibaly and William Saliba, bang. That's my centre-back pairing. Yeah, that's my centre-back pairing. Yeah, but the thing is, I think the cost of him would be much lower. But I just want to give out a big shout out as well to Kevin Mark. Nice to see you in there, mate. Appreciate that.
So I just wanted to address that, actually, if I may. So the first thing is, I mean, I have watched him, not a lot, and as you said, Apollo, I mean, a lot of these players haven't played for a couple of months. He's 21. He's obviously going to make some rash decisions. I mean, it's not like he's at the level where he's a Van Dijk level. So when you were talking about Koulibaly, who's obviously at a higher level, I think there are going to be many other clubs looking at him. I don't think that
Koulibaly is only 28. That's not old.
Yeah, he's only 28.
Only 28. You're looking at
anybody approaching 30? Anybody approaching 30 is too old.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
You need long-term stay in there.
Yeah, 28
Yeah.
is in his prime. He's in his prime.
I don't know about 28 in his
Oh,
prime.
right, you're right.
Yeah.
Koulibaly's been playing football for a while. He looks like he's about 60 years old.
But footballers are said to be in their primes at the age of 26 to 29. That's when they're in their prime. So he's in his prime right now. He's playing his best football.
That's why a lot of clubs are going to be looking at him. So, guys, I mean, realistically, I know, and we want the best players, but realistically, we don't have the pulling power right now to get a Koulibaly. We don't have Champions League football guaranteed. So the fact that we are potentially getting Upamecano for me is already, I mean, we're pulling above our weight already. So we can't be too greedy here. Let's just take what we can get. Well, a promising center back that's 21 and has definitely, an exciting future ahead of him. Let's get him to have a partnership with Saliba, and we're sorted. I mean, I think if we had those two, to be honest, probably top 4 defenses in the league, in my opinion.
Okay,
he has David Luiz in him. He has some David Luiz with him. I'm telling you.
That's a big shot.
He has some David Luiz.
What's your thoughts on this?
All right. Well, you know me and Arsenal.com, so I'm not believing any rumors until I see it on Arsenal.com.
Okay, so the question is, would you like him to come to Arsenal?
Yeah, I'd like him to come to Arsenal because our defense is rocky at best, and that's been nice. If he can plug in that gap, and if he's able to withstand the Premier League, because we know that the French league is completely different to the French league. We know the French league is different to the Premier League. It's a lot more physical. So yes, he does have that physical presence, but would he be able to withstand the physicalities of our players? I hope so, but if you're gonna have Upamecano, then who do we get rid of? Do we get rid of Rob Holding? Do we get rid of Callum Chambers?
They would get rid of a lot of players. Right now, we're hearing that they're going to put Maitland-Niles on the market for 20 million, but they would get rid of more players if they were going to do that deal. Yeah.
Right. Well, if it's a case of getting rid of players to afford him, and he's able to get a run of games, and he's able to get himself Premier League fit, and he can withstand it, great. Because we do need some reinforcements at the back. I mean, if David Luiz is going, which he could actually stay and be that that old figurehead, that experience, even though he does make a lot of mistakes. So then Upamecano as well, he's young, 21. He's going to make mistakes. So give him a chance, because you know what Arsenal fans are like. Arsenal fans are like, oh, he's rubbish, get rid of him. Give him a chance. It's the same thing that they did with Pepe. Give the guy a chance. It's a new league. It's a new way of playing. It's new. It's a new physicality. Give him a chance.
Yeah, I think again, Carletto's just knocking the ball out of the park right now. He's saying that we should sell Socrates and Mustafi. Look, we can make money from those two and money from Maitland-Niles, and Arteta's going to have to go in and make some money this summer. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean Socrates can go because he's crap.
Yeah,
and
I'm not sure Socrates is going to go as well, because now they're talking about not keeping Cedric Soares and moving Socrates to right back. So that's I don't see Socrates going. I don't see that happening. Me, myself personally, having understood the coaching aspect of sport, the one thing that people think about in terms of improving their teams on the inside is, how well can I coach a player to improve? We took a guy called Eric Flowers from the New York Giants, who was a high draft pick, and he was laughed out of New York. He spent one season in Washington with Bill Callahan, who's a legendary offensive line coach, and he turned out to be one of the top guards in free agency. Miami gave him a huge look. I'm sitting here with a New York Giant fan at the top and a Miami Dolphin fan at the bottom, so they both know what I'm talking about. And this guy ended up signing a $6 million a year deal, massive deal, because he was coached properly. So I want you guys to also think about that when you're talking about this player's shit, that player's shit, he ain't good enough. Arteta has barely had 5 months at the club. He needs to come in and look what he's got and look what he can work with. He can turn water into gold. Yeah, he did it when he was at Man City.
Flowers was awful. Flowers was beyond awful. He was the worst left tackle in the history of Giants football.
Okay, Bertram, let's talk facts right now. He ain't awful now, and he's a left guard, not a left tackle. Yeah,
But whatever he was, he needs to be right off the field. That's where he should be, right off the field.
He's a good player now. He's a good left guard, man, and he was solid last season, so he deserved that contract. But you know, so we can't forget the coaching aspect. This is why when I was on Sonny's show the other day and I was talking about Maitland-Niles playing as a centre midfielder and the improvements that he's showing, and the improvements we've seen from quite a few other guys in this Arteta system. Tony, what's your thoughts on Upamecano? Do we pull the trigger on that?
Well. So let's get to the voice of reason. Do we really need him?
Yes.
We have 9. We have 8 or 9 centre backs. Let me tell you what our real need is. Cedric Soares is about to leave the club potentially. Maitland-Niles is clearly a mate weight. What we really need to be focusing in the back four right now is Max Arron's.
Interesting.
Yeah? I'm bringing some clarity to those who get lost in amongst the newspaper junk. What we read is that Cedric Soares is potentially going to be out the door in 15 days. So what we really need to be doing is going, you know what? That kid down at Norwich, he needs to be a gunner by next season, by hook or by crook.
It's a good call.
And if Upamecano is someone that we have to forsake to get Max Arron's, guess what I'm going to take? I'm going to take Max Arron's right now because we've got a host of centre-backs.
Yeah, we have. And there's a case, Tony, for them to just move Callum Chambers to right back. They can pretty much. He isn't, but
I like Callum Chambers, and I like him in the centre back, and I like him in the centre midfield. He's not a right back. I'm sorry. When you look at what we've been complaining about all season long, is Pepe gets nothing from Socrates. He's getting nothing. Whenever Bellerin isn't playing, he's getting nothing to protect him, to help him. So this is why our focus must be, if we are not going to get Cedric Soares playing ball for us next season, we have to go all out and get Max Arron's. And that, my friend, is reason.
Okay, guys, there's a few things that I wanted to also bring up and talk about. I want to blaze through this at the moment because I want to get right onto the Man City preview. So I'm just going to go around to you guys. A couple of minutes you've got to talk to me about the Aaron Ramsey is definitely going to be put up for sale. And that's just going to be a nightmare. For me, that falls straight into the Coutinho problem. Barcelona have a player that they've overly paid for and that is unsellable. And I think Aaron Ramsey there's talk about him going to Spurs. Spurs ain't paying no player 400 grand. They can't even pay Harry Kane 400 grand a week. So I just don't see that happening. But what happens with Aaron Ramsey, guys, and also Mkhitaryan Kluivert, we're hearing now that a swap could be on the cards for these two players. Bertram, I'll go with you first.
First, I want to say Eric Flowers was a left tackle for us. Became a guard when he went to Jacksonville and the Redskins. Just want to clear that up. Second,
no, you don't need to clear that up. I know he was a left tackle. I told you.
No, but you're saying he's a guard because they moved him to guard, so maybe it gets better.
They moved him to guard because he was crap. They tried him at left tackle and he was dead food.
Aaron Ramsey's contract is no different from Sanchez. It's no different from Ozil. No different from Coutinho's. When you sign him as a player, and I said this previously, you as a team, you should give them a sign-on fee and give them a salary that's manageable. Just in case they don't work out, you can move them. You can't move 250,000 K a week for Coutinho. You can't move 400K for Ramsey and 400K for Sanchez. And in fact, their production doesn't reflect, at least in Sanchez's case and in Coutinho's case, the capability. I think they can pay the 400,000. It's not happening. Ozil had that capability. Not happening. Ramsey has never had that capability. Giving Ramsey 400K show you how the madness in football. Seriously. Ramsey's for some people, Arsenal fans, a very good player. I think he's an average player, always been an average player. Never plays his position well ever. Scores goals, but then there's a big hole in the defense. So there's a balance there. So at the end of the day, look, we don't need Ramsey, and wherever he wants to go to, God help that team because they're going to end up like Ozil did for us. And the reason why we don't want to sign Abba to Ozil's deal, we don't repeat the past. It's the wrong player to do it with. But Abba coming up in the news and saying, oh, by the way, it's up to Arsenal. They don't want to give you 350K. Because they've set the benchmark with Ozil, and that has bombed as probably the worst contract, one of the worst contracts in the history of football, frankly.
And would you take that? Would you take the Mkhitaryan Kluivert deal?
Kluivert is young. He's only 21. Last year's stats wasn't that good. This year's 7 goals and 1 assist. So he scores a goals every 270, 80 minutes. That's not terrible for a person who plays out wide, but it's not good for somebody who plays in the middle. Look, I mean, we need to get rid of Mkhitaryan any way we can.
200 grand a
week. We don't want to bring some. At least Kluivert would have some sell-on value if he keeps on improving. So would I take the deal? It's not the best deal in the world, but if it's to keep Mkhitaryan versus getting Kluivert, I would take Kluivert.
Excellent. African Guna, Arron Ramsey, what would you do with him and the Kluivert for Mkhitaryan deal?
Yeah, so 2 things. Firstly, to Tony, the first thing is in terms of right backs, right? If we don't sell Bellerin, we don't need Max Aarons. Second thing is in regards to Max Aarons, he's a hot prospect. Is he English? Am I correct? Is he British? So he's gonna obviously his price tag is gonna be soaring. As we know, British players are they're overpriced. And third of all,
not if he gets relegated, mate. They're gonna want to jettison.
I think many teams are looking at him. I think even United are looking at him. So for me, it'd be nice to have him, but I don't think it's a priority because if Bellerin is fit for the rest of the season, we don't need him, and we have Chambers as a backup. And going on to that point, we have center backs, but they're all crap. So Upamecano is a need. I just wanted to address that firstly. Then secondly, in terms of Aaron Ramsey, I mean, we talked about this on the chat. I mean, how stupid would we look if we took Aaron Ramsey back? I mean, I know we have, he's an FA Cup legend and a lot of fans still have some personal attachment to him. But honestly, there are a lot of world-class or even above average midfielders in the world. So there's no reason for us to go and get him. Even though he would add value to our team, I think that boat has sailed, as I've said before. And so for me, I mean, I honestly don't think that he'll go to Spurs. I think he still has some loyalty to Arsenal, so I can't see him doing that. And if he did do that, I mean, it'd just be terrible for him. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm going to say what Ebony always says. I'm going to say what Ebony always says, which is, until you hear it on Arsenal.com, ignore it because Spurs cannot afford it. Yeah. Spurs is going to bank loan for $200 million. Spurs cannot afford it.
I mean, we can't ignore it because he's not wanted at Juventus, so he's got to go somewhere. So we're talking about whether Arsenal would be a place for him to go. Look, we was in this situation when Fabregas left Barcelona, and everyone was complaining about it. 2 years after, everyone was saying we should have brought him in.
But
no, that's not comparable. Come on, that's not comparable.
Yeah, exactly.
Apollo.
Exactly.
The only reason
be gotten rid of.
The only reason why it's not comparable in your view is because he didn't have a high salary. He actually took a drop in salary, Fabregas, to go to Barcelona.
So if I could
400K, what's Ramsey going to take? 200K?
What's who? Sorry.
From 400. What's Ramsey going to take? 200K from 400K?
They got a problem. They got the Coutinho problem, and they're going to have to figure it out. Otherwise,
the Sanchez problem, the Coutinho problem, the Ozil problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Man United. Man United is paying 150 to 200 grand a week of Sanchez's wages. That is a broken deal. You can't get out of it. We were trying to do that with Fenerbahce last season. We told them we would pay 125,000 a week of Özil's money, and they were still like that means we still have to pay 225. It's when you're stuck with a deal like that, it's dead food. It's proper dead food. Ebony. Sorry, have I finished with you, African Guna?
Not yet. So first of all, in terms of what Bertram was saying about comparison, he's totally right. You can't compare that at all. First of all, it's not even about the money. The thing with Fabregas is we all knew that Barcelona was his boyhood club, and he said it early on that he was going to go back. So in terms of getting him back after he moved to Barcelona, it was much different than Aaron Ramsey, which we agreed not to pay him. So I think it's very different situations. In terms of what Aaron is saying, that it wouldn't look stupid because he's one of our own. He's not one of our own. I mean, if he was one of our own, he would have agreed to take a pay cut and he would have stayed at the club. So I think that point is irrelevant. I mean, that boat has sailed, and for me, the door is closed. I wouldn't take him back. In terms of the Mkhitaryan deal, as Bertram said, 100%. Any way we can get rid of Mkhitaryan, we should go ahead and do that. I mean, there's no space for him in our team. He's old, he's finished. He can't come back and compete in the Premier League for me. his days are over in the Premier League. So if we can get a player and do a swap deal, even if we have to pay a little bit for a promising, potentially backup player to Pepe as a winger, 100%, I'd take that deal.
Okay, so let's see what the guys are saying in the chat room. So we've got James is saying that's a deal. He'll pull the trigger on that all day long. Carletto saying he's heard Barcelona have actually slashed their demands for Coutinho. Yeah, those demands, remember, was 107 million for the deal. They still have to fork out. Actually, his 250,000 euros a week salary is not as drastic or bad as Ramsey's or Ozil's or Alexis Sanchez. I think that 250,000 is workable. What does that work out in pound? Works out to about £220,000 a week. So it's doable. That's a doable deal for any club. So I don't think that's really bad for Coutinho. It's just the overall fee of 107 million that they have no choice to cut that money and run. 18 saying he'll take Ramsey back and he'll take Kluivert. James is also saying Ramsey's day at Arsenal are done. Mickey go on Kluivert. Yeah, he's pulling that trigger. Arron saying that he would take Rambo all day long. Kez, nice Kez to see you as always. Kez is saying he wouldn't take Ramsey back for that money. Yeah, the money's the stickler. That's the big problem. If Juventus are going to get rid of him, they're going to have to facilitate paying some of his salary, which is what many clubs, United are currently doing it with Sanchez. Arsenal couldn't do it with Ozil. That's the only way that deal is going to work. And
I have a question, guys. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So if Juventus saying Ramsey's not good enough, because that's what they're saying, and we're trying to become a lead team, why would we want Ramsey back?
Good point. Ebony, would you take Ramsey back?
Yeah, I would. I thought he was good for us. People say he's average. I thought he was a great midfielder for me, anyway.
He was. We haven't replaced these productivity since he's gone.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, who have you got as his replacement? You can't really say Guendouzi. You can't say Pereira. Hell no to Xhaka, who. I'd actually personally, I'd get rid of Xhaka and bring back Ramsey, because at least Ramsey can actually run with the ball.
Different players, positions. It's very hard to compare them.
I know, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure Ramsey could actually play the role that Xhaka could actually play, because Xhaka's naff.
Yeah.
With regard to, but then again, this is what happened.
Neither can Xhaka.
Come on, Ebony, guys, let Ebony have her say.
This is what happened, but then again, this is what happens when, Emery came in, didn't want him. Okay, forget about the money. At the end of the day, Aaron Ramsey wanted to stay at Arsenal, but Emery said, all right, well, we'll do you a deal, but no, we don't want you anymore. So I'd welcome him back. He didn't want to go. And, some people are calling it sentiment. No, at the end of the day, he wanted to stay. He was good for us. He can play Xhaka as well. Bring him back. With regards to Kluivert and Mkhitaryan, I'd say goodbye to Mkhitaryan. I would personally drive him to where he needs to go.
Everyone's doing that deal.
At the end of the day, but then again, I need to be convinced with Kluivert. Is he anything like his dad? I don't know. But, I've only seen him play half a game. So
he's young, he's coachable, he's got some ability, but I'd put him in the hands of Arteta and let Arteta work his magic. As far as Ramsey goes, 250 games for Arsenal, 40 goals, 46 assists. We need to find that productivity. I've been on record saying that I think that I don't think Joe Willett could do it, but then I stand to be corrected. I hope he proves me wrong. But I think Smith Rowe is definitely someone who's got the ability to do that. From what I've seen him do at Arsenal, I think that he can be a great player for us. I just want these guys. I'm a big advocate of giving the young guys a chance. A lot of people talk about transfers. We got some stellar studs.
Yeah, we need to stick with them. We've got a great youth academy. Stick with these players. Give them time. And they can't just rubbish them off.
Give them a chance. That's what I'm saying.
Time. Yeah.
They've been in a small season, by the way. You say give them a chance. Have they not been in our starting 11 for most of the season.
They haven't had a chance, mate. They haven't.
Dude, Joe Willock has been playing this whole season.
No, he hasn't had a run in the first team. The only person who had a chance.
Come on.
And we can look at games played to actually prove this. The only person who's had a chance is Iwobi, and he didn't cut it, and he sold. And you need those amount of games in order to let everybody see and the coaching staff see whether you have made the breakthrough or not. If you haven't, don't just play a guy for 2 games. Look what we're hearing last week when we had the show. Some of you lot were saying, rubbish and Eddie Nketiah. The man's only played 4 or 5 games for Arsenal. They need a run of games. You need to play these guys 20, 30, 40 games to see how they develop. If in that time, like Iwobi, that they've shown that they can't do it, then you sell them. You don't sell them when they're just coming off the conveyor belt off the youth academy. We can't do that.
I want to correct something again. I want to correct the records. We're not saying Nketiah is crap. We're just saying he's not Eto'o. He's not Simon Eto'o. That's all we're saying.
Oh dear. Tony, Tony, Mkhitaryan.
He's a good player.
Tony, Mkhitaryan and Kluivert, would you pull the trigger on that deal?
Yeah, 100%. And I just want to back up something about the African Gooner said. Joe Willock has played 19 games this season.
Thank you.
More than enough opportunity to show your quality. And you and I, Apollo, have had this conversation. Joe Willock has definitely disappointed this season. There's no doubt he's had more than enough opportunity to show his worth.
And that's the reason why you just heard me say the jury's still out on him. A lot of the games he's played is in the Carabao Cup and UEFA Cup. I want to see him in a Premiership where he's only really made substitute additions for Ozil.
Sorry, let me just correct that. He's played 19 Premier League games. He's also played 3 FA Cup games, 2 European Europa League games. No, 8 Europa games and 2 other games.
So how many of those Premiership games has he started?
So he's played 19 Premier games. He's played in 32 games this season. He scored 4 goals.
That's a better return than Ozil. He's come on for Ozil for quite a few times. I would like to know how many games he started because it isn't a lot. I would guess he hasn't started more than 3 games. Sorry guys, drink. I would guess he hasn't started more than 3 or 4 games in those 19 because he comes on for Ozil. He does come on for Ozil a lot. All right, so guys, let's get into our Man United. Sorry, not Man United. Let's get into our Man City team sheet predictions. Now, guys, we're going to go with our predictor here. So let's see if we can switch this on. Let's have a look here. And guys, in the chat, I also want to know from you guys, what's your thoughts on where you want to go with the Man City lineup? A big shout out to Sam. A big shout out to Indian Guna. Good to see you on there, Indian Guna. Nice one, mate. Appreciate that. Sam is saying Willock started 6 games in the Premiership. Yeah, so 6 games. That's not enough. It's not enough. Yeah. If you look at someone like Iwobi, who I said we knew what we had in Iwobi. He had played for a couple of seasons. We got a great look at him. He started a plethora of games for the club. And at that time, when we got young players coming through, we all knew that selling him was the right thing to do. You can't say that with a player who started 6 games. You can't.
Yeah, so I think in terms of what you're saying, Apollo, these guys have all had a chance. The thing is, Arsenal's stingy. We knew a long time ago we needed to sell Iwobi, but we just didn't ever want to spend the money to actually replace him and get a proper winger. So what we did was we settled with him until we got to the point where a team came in and offered 40 million. And we spent 72 million on Pepe, and we were like, "Holy crap! We need to balance the books," and we decided to sell him. And that's the same thing with Maitland-Niles, right? We're selling him now because obviously we need to balance the books, get some money in. So we're deciding to sell him now and cash in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I appreciate your point, but I view it differently. I think Iwobi played some decent games for Arsenal. When we went up to Chelsea and won, it was because him and Welbeck were playing on the flanks, and their defensive effort in the front three is what gave us those victories over Chelsea. Another thing as well, look what happened when he came off in Baku, came off the bench, brilliant goal. There's a player in there somewhere. Unfortunately for Arsenal, they just didn't get the best out of Iwobi, and I'm not saying he's completely crap. I'm saying that he's had some of our best games away from home is where they put him on the front end defensively, and he did a job. We just don't have that in the team at the moment, and hopefully Saka can be that person. We've seen what Saka can do on the team offensively. Defensively, he's an average player, but they'll coach Saka. They'll improve his game on that. So I really do hope. Look, selling him Iwobi for 40 million was the right thing to do, because if that didn't happen, Saka would never been promoted to the first team. And that's what we're talking about now. We have to play these players, give them a good run of 30, 40 games, have a look at their production, and if they don't cut it, get rid of them. So guys, let's look at big shout out to Liam as well. Liam, I love your content, man. I'm a big fan of your channel. Subscribe to his channel, guys. It's a lot of fun. Gaming channel as well. So if you like watching FIFA Arsenal games, my man delivers in abundance. So guys, let's have a look at where we are with Arsenal now and talking about this team that we're going to put out. And yeah, let's try and get some juicy feedback here and see what we can go with in goal. Well, in goal, I think we're all going to choose the same thing. Bertram, who would your choice be in goal?
So before we get to who's in goal, because there's only one choice we have, so that's an easy one. Willock, I'm a Willock fan, and Willock has played the equivalent of 6 games, 574 minutes in the PL, which equates to about 6 games. You can't do. He scored 1 goal in 6 games, so don't want to belabor the point, but I think he should be given more of a chance. Secondly, I think as it relates to the team, look, it's Leno in goal. We're trying to get Fraser Foster. That means we're not confident in Martinez. So I think Leno has actually played well and probably he's looked good in the preseason, actually. So I think by default, he's probably the only true goalkeeper we have with the qualities to be between the sticks.
Yeah, I think it's probably better off of us to start with left back, because I don't think anybody's going to be going outside of Leno. Leno's a lock, really. So I think that's something we should do. So who would your left back be, Bertram?
Saka. Let me rephrase that. I have a team in mind. Look, I have a team in mind, which does include Saka at left back. Arteta won't play this team. My team is almost totally different from this.
Yeah, but at the moment, let's go with the consensus.
He probably will go with it's Tierney or Saka, and he may go with. Look, I'm not sure he's going to go with, because Saka's been there all season and tried and tested. Tierney has not been tried and tested, but given the team I've seen playing, he may go with Tierney at left back.
Okay, African Guna, left back.
You know what it is, Tierney.
Tierney, that's it. Ebony.
Tierney all day long.
I'm gonna.
I love Saka.
Let me take this banner away, because I actually can't see Tony's face. That's better. Tony, we've already got 3 people for Tony, so Tony's going to get the vote whether me and you disagree with it or not.
I had Tierney in my team. You've seen my team in the chat previously.
That's right.
So yeah, I had Tierney there.
So guys in the chat, does anybody look? We've already got Stylist. This is going with Saka. Who else is going? James is going with Tierney. No, James is going with Saka. Come on, James. James has gone. Look at James. Saka left back, and then he's gone Ashley Tierney. Simpy, what are you going with? Guys, who are you going with at left back? It looks like the consensus from us is going to be Kieran Tierney, so that's going to be a lock for us. Arron's gone again. I love Tierney, but he needs game time. Yeah, he does. And City would be a coming out party for him. Stephen's gone for Saka, and Liam's gone for Tierney. So, guys, Tierney's going to get the lock. So now we're going to go at centre-back, the left centre-back. And before we go into that, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Please don't forget to hit that like button. And Super Chat is open, so if any of you guys want to donate to the channel, help yourselves, and we'd appreciate that wholeheartedly. Let's go with Bertram. Bertram, who's going to go with left right back for us?
You mean left right back? You mean left?
Sorry, left centre.
I'm struggling with this one, actually. Is it Mari? Is David Luiz? Are we playing David and Mustafi? I am struggling with that one. Mustafi played well all season, no matter how error-prone he is. I'm going to say David Luiz, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking David Luiz normally plays there, but when we played, was it West Ham? I think Pablo Mari slipped in there, and then David Luiz moved to the side, moved to the right.
Because Mari's left footer. He's a left footer, unlike Mustafi is a right footer, and David is right. So.
Oh, so that messes me up again, because I was going to go for Luiz, but I think that Luiz is going to shift. I'm going Pablo Mari on this one. African Guna.
So yeah, just firstly, I wanted to let the chat and the panel know in terms of left back. I mean, we have to remember 5 subs, so I think it's going to be both Tierney and Saka both going to play. I think ideally it doesn't really matter which one starts. I think at the end of the match, both of them will end up playing at least some minutes in that position. So that's always good to remember. And in terms of left center back, I think it's a pretty straightforward and easy one. It's going to be David Luiz.
Not if Mari's in the team. We just talked about.
I think Mari's going to play on the right, and I think David Luiz will still play on the left.
Yeah, they didn't do that against West Ham.
He doesn't have a right foot.
Yeah, he doesn't have a right foot.
He just walks on it. It doesn't.
And he will get twisted on that side by a left winger if he. Yeah, it wouldn't happen that way, mate. If both of them are gonna.
If that's the case, then I'm gonna go for Mari on the left.
Okay, that's another one for Mari. Ebony.
I go for Mari. I just don't trust Luiz against a fast-paced team like Man City.
Luiz will play, no doubt about that. But
he will play. But Luiz is too as good as he can be. He's too error-prone. So I'd rather see Mari in the left centre back.
Okay,
and also Mari's got a left foot as well. So yeah.
Tony, who plays at left centre back?
I really don't mind which way you play him around because I've just got Murray and Luiz. Whether you play one left or one right, I don't really mind so long as the two of them are in my option. So whoever you pick as left, who's got the majority at left? If it's Mari, I'll play Mari so long as he gets in my team, and then you can dispute the rest of them then. Okay,
so guys, we've got Liam going with Mari. Simpy, no votes for Kola. James is going with Mustafi. Stephen's going with Mari. Stylist is going with Mari. Who else? Look, a lot of people going. I'm going with Mari as well. I want that relationship to develop. Me and Tony have been a lock on this when we've talked about this defense being shored up, and I really believe that. Look, he spent 3 years at Man City, and Man City developed Pablo Mari to becoming the #1 rated and voted centre-back in South American football. He's got a point to prove, and I think he starts here, and Arteta and Pablo Mari, both in tandem, go to shut Man City down. That's what I think is going to happen. Tony, let's reverse. So do we really need to go into this, guys? I think we're all going to choose David Luiz unless somebody's got someone else they want to plug in. Is anybody? Okay, so David Luiz and Pablo Mari are the 2 centre-backs with Kieran Tierney at left back. This is going to be the confusion factor, though. Guys in the chat as well, really need your feedback and input on this. Who goes at right back? Bertram, talk to me.
Bellerin, no brainer.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The African Guna?
Bellerin, no hesitation. I mean, that's a straightforward one as well. I would be really surprised if Suarez got a start. I don't think he will. So yeah, it has to be Bellerin. We already know we're putting Maitland-Niles up for sale. So I mean, I don't even think he's gonna be in this. I mean, he might be in the squad, but I doubt he's gonna get minutes. So
believe me, he'll be in the squad. It's because Arteta has been looking at him at central midfielder. I think that Niles' days at right back are probably done.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the fact is, remember, guys, there's been talk this week that Socrates will not be sold this summer. And they might be looking at him at right back. So, maybe he's just an option there as a backup. So I really don't know.
What to take pictures? Is he going to be in the photos?
I hope so, yeah. Pictures on the sideline, social distancing. And guys, right back, we're going with, James is saying, is he fit? Yeah, Bellerin's 100% fit. He had a groin problem. That's what was causing the problems there. 18 is going with Bellerin. Nitesh, nice to see you in the chat, Nitesh. Nitesh is going with Niles. Football Daily Talk's going with Bellerin. Liam's going with Bellerin. James Bellerin, hands down. Where are we going? Stylist is going with Bellerin. Yeah, I think Arron's saying it is a no-brainer, yes, but I think the Cedric Soares thing has really thrown everybody left field. We all thought that was going to get done and we were going to build on him because he's a solid option, regardless what anybody wants to say about the player. But with Bellerin, it really depends on Bellerin's future. If Bellerin doesn't have a future there, then honestly, I probably wouldn't play him. We've got Socrates. Sam has gone for Socrates at right back. Would be like playing with 10 men. Yeah, definitely. Socrates. Carlito's going with Socrates. Socrates scares the hell out of him. Yeah, he does. And look, he's 32. His days are done. I think the reason why they're talking about him now is because Cedric Soares is not in our plan. So that's why that's happening. So let's go around. We did Bertram, didn't we? Which we went for.
Yes, I had Mustafi and Louis.
Oh, Mustafi at right back.
No. Right inside. No. Centre halves are Mustafi and Louis. I think he's going to play anyway. Right is Bellerin, left is Tierney.
So you've gone
Mustafi
for.
has done nothing to be dropped, actually. Nothing to be dropped.
But again, we're doing this one by the numbers of votes. So the most of the votes went for David Luiz. So
I won't go with the majority. I'm going to go with the team I think will give us the best chance to win.
Yeah, and that's good. And if we get enough votes for that player, then we'll plug them in, and then among the five of us, we'll have the best option available to take on Man City. But right back, you're going for Bellerin, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, African Guna.
Yeah, I'm going for Bellerin as well. But let's remember he's going up against Sterling. So whoever is playing there, they're going to need help from the right wing. That's going to be a very tough matchup, whoever is playing there. So I'm hoping Bellerin is, he has his mind and frame of mind correct, because he needs to be defensively attuned in this match.
You need a team with legs against City. A team with legs, physical and with legs. And you need Mustafi, to me, is much more athletic than Mari is. That's why I choose Mustafi. He may make mistakes, but you need that physicality and that speed and good in the air. And frankly, Mari, to me, is a good player, but I don't see him being what we're all making him out to be. Not so far, anyway.
We just have more. I agree with Bertram. It's just that we have more trust in him because obviously he hasn't let us down as many times as Mustafi. So regardless of
you haven't seen him enough.
Well, yeah,
you haven't seen him enough yet.
Give him a chance.
So both of you are going with Bellerin and Ebony. Who are you going through on this one at right back?
Well, I'm hoping that Bellerin is fit because he's the most experienced left back. Right back even. He's the best one that we have, really. He's the most experienced one. Can Ainsley Maitland-Niles go there? Maybe. Can Suarez go there? Maybe. But I mean, for the sake of Man City and for the sake of experience, just stick with Bellerin.
Okay, so that's 3 votes. So he's a lock now, guys. I would have gone for Maitland-Niles because of the system that Arteta's going to play, which we'll talk about after we do the team sheet. Tony, who are you going for on this one?
It's easy, Bellerin, man.
Yeah, Bellerin's got the lock.
He's the fastest player in the whole team.
Yeah, and he's going to have to deal with Sterling.
Remember, he's faster than Thierry Henry over a short distance. Yeah, you would be an idiot to play anybody else in our team against the fastest strikers in the whole of the Premier League.
They rip you a new one when they're breaking. So. Yeah. So guys, we've got our back 4. We've got Tierney at left back, we've got Pablo Mari and David Luiz in the middle, and we've got Bellerin at right back. So thanks guys in the chat who have been pushing everything towards this. I see you guys typing like mad at the back. Nitesh is saying play 5 at the play 5 at the back, 4 defenders is not enough. And again, remember, we're talking tactically. So tactically, if you think about, and this is the reason why I've gone for Maitland-Niles, if you think about the way that the team is actually set up, it's a 4-2-3-1, But when we defend, it's a 4-4-2. And when we attack, it's switched to a 3-2-5. So the 5 up the front has to incorporate the right back and the left back. So that's the reason why Kieran Tierney and Saka, when he played there, is so important. And it's the reason why Pepe's been struggling. So my thinking of it is the fact that Maitland-Niles is better going forward than Bellerin. As the guys alluded to, though, he's just not as good a defender as Bellerin. So that's the reason why you've got to kind of fit him in there to deal with Raheem Sterling. So there's a lot of tactics, a lot of mind games that's going to play towards this result. So that's where we are on that, guys. So let's have a look where we are. Let's get this. Here we go. Here we go. Here's a sheet. So let's now take a look at holding midfielder. So 2 holding midfielders, guys. Let's go for the one on the left and see where we are. Bertram, who fits in at left holding midfielder? And guys in the chat as well, let's get your feedback on that.
So I think Arteta is going to spring some surprises, which I agree with. I'm saying Saka.
What?
Yeah, you know what?
I expect those responses.
Why?
And I'm telling you, this game.
Okay.
So it's my time. You give me time, Africa Gunner. This game needs legs and skill. Legs and skill and stamina the game needs. You can't play Man City playing these slow, plodding midfielder like Torreira and Xhaka alone in the midfield. They run around them like they're chickens. You need legs. Saka plays on the left, and he's very deceptive. He's quick, and he also plays defense. Remember that. You have Tierney on the left, he can go down the wing. You have Saka on the left, who can go down the wing and cut inside. They're ball players. And Abba will be out wide. I'm just giving you my team that I think he's going to play. A very strong left-sided team that can match up with Man City, both skill-wise and athletic-wise. And if I was Arteta, throw the whole book out the window by playing these plodding midfielders who get run over every game and play Saka in that left position.
Do you know why that's a good move? And actually, I agree with you. I would go for Saka in that position. And I'll tell you my 2 reasons why. The first reason is he's been playing him there in the 2 warm-up games to have a look at him in a new position. The second reason is that left-back position has to drop back when we attack. And, well, normally they've had to drop back. They've been doing that with Xhaka to drop back to offer more support as the defense switches from a 4 at the back to a 3 at the back with the 5 up front. So I think that Saka can do that because he has played left back and he has played that attacking midfielder. Good to see him play there and get about on the field against who was at Charlton. Good to really see him play in that position. And it's good to see that Arteta's trying new things with that formation. I think he will. It could be a surprise. It could happen. But I'm definitely going with Saka there as well. What are we going from? We're going, 18 is going from Saka. Wow, 18 is going for Saka. Liam's gone for Torreira. James is going for Torreira. Sam is going for Torreira. I don't actually believe Torreira is 100% fit, which is the reason why I didn't choose him. Kulke's gone for, where are we? Kulke's gone for Saka. Stephen's gone for Xhaka, which is the old tried and tested formula. Nitesh has gone for Ceballos and Torreira. So, remember Ceballos plays more at the top. So while they're holding, there's 3. They play a diamond 3, don't they? They play with Ceballos and Xhaka, and then they play with Ozil at the tail. I'm not sure if Ozil's going to play in this game, which is the reason why it might shift things around. But I don't think Torreira is 100% fit. I don't think he's match fit at the moment. That has to be confirmed.
Can I come in? I know it's not my turn, but I just want to give credence to what Bertram just said, because I do have Saka, funnily enough, in the left midfield spot.
Yeah.
So that's 3 of us have already gone for Saka before we've even started thinking about anything else. So that's my bit as well.
And it's good, Tony. And as I expressed, he played there against Charlton because Arteta wanted to see what that would look like, whether he'd be able to. He's got so much more energy than Xhaka. He's got more defensive aptitude. He's got more offensive aptitude than Xhaka. You just get much more from the player. You don't get turned because Xhaka's got no quickness, no speed. All those weaknesses and frailties you've had are eliminated if you make that move. So that's the reason why I just see, look, he's up to something. Remember, Arteta didn't have a preseason. He didn't get to work with these players. He was thrown in at the deep end and had to make do with what he had. Now he's had time to think about the changes he wants to make, prepared to be surprised. Let's have a look. Oh, Arron's gone with Torreira and Saka. Again, can someone confirm to me that Torreira's match fit? He didn't play in any of the friendlies. I don't think he's fit, guys. I don't think Torreira will play. And Stylist is there is adding to that as well. Did Torreira play in the friendlies? No, he didn't. So, guys, Ebony, what's your choice on this one?
Okay. Seeing as Bertrand put it like it is, I'm going to go for Saka in the middle, on left midfield. Anybody who has that quickness and that pace, and anybody who's interchangeable, as Saka is, and he's proven that he can play left back, as well as his own position. Why not stick him in?
Excellent. So, guys, we have our left-sided midfield, and I think that's a brilliant.
Let me give my point of view. Yeah.
Yep. Go on.
Yeah. So, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, I'd love to see him there, but I mean, frankly, I don't think that Arteta would take the chance in such a big game to play him there. I mean, if he gets mashed up or roasted or whatever, I mean, if Man City dominate this game and dominate him, I mean, it's going to kill his confidence. I mean, again, 100% agree with everyone. He far outweighs in terms of talent and output Xhaka. But I mean, for me, I just don't see it happen. And I'm going to put this out there now. I'm making a bet with all of you that there's no way he's going to play. Even though I agree with you and I would like him to play there, it's not going to happen. And my choice and my soul cries when I say this, because it's going to be Xhaka. Like, he just can't get removed out of the team, and I don't see him getting removed out of the team. Even though I don't want him there, I'm 100% sure he's going to be there.
The thing is, there's a few things on that. One is you can put Xhaka next to Saka. Wow, that's a tongue twister. You can put them in there, and then you can move Ceballos into the hole at the 10 and leave Ozil out of the team. That's the first option. The second point is, I totally agree with what you're saying, but 4 of us have gone for Saka. Yeah. And the reason why we've done that is because the last 6 games with Manchester City, with Xhaka in the team, has resulted in them scoring 17 goals and us scoring 2. So that formula for Xhaka doesn't work. And unless
my soul cries when I say his name, because I don't want to, but I just somehow he's always in the team, and I just don't think that Arteta.
I know, I get it, and I agree with you. But the only way that we're going to win this game, in my opinion, is that you leave the guy out. Yeah, it's yeah. So on the right hand side, this is going to be really interesting. Let me go to the chat, because you guys are really busy in there right now, man. Nitesh is saying, can he play body-to-body physical football? He tackles well. Yeah, he does. The one thing that impressed me as a left-back is that he was willing to put himself on the line defensively. And I really think that he showed aptitude in that position, Nitesh. And I think that that's what surprised the manager. And I just want to go to another comment here, which I think hits the nail on the head. I think it's made by Indian Guna. Indian Guna says, if Saka plays in the midfield, he definitely is not going to sign a new contract if his role isn't clear. But say if he does want to play there, though, Indian Guna, I think that it could be the reverse. If he is happy playing there, and let's face it, you can see the field a lot more better in that position, and you can dictate the flow and the pace of a game from that position. Remember, Maitland-Niles has been getting a look there as well, and I just think that Saka's got way more in his back pocket than Maitland-Niles has in that position. And I think that something like this is what can proc Saka to playing a new car. He just wants to know that he's in a team where he can evolve into a position he likes to play in. And I don't think that was left back. So some guys are actually saying Willock as well, but obviously Willock plays further ahead in the tail at the number 10. So this is going to throw a spanner into the mix, guys. Who do we go with now at right holding midfield? Let's start with you, Bertram.
I don't view it as a right holding midfield. The way I see the team being set up is Xhaka is playing deep in front of 2 center backs. Saka is on the left and Ceballos is on the right. Ceballos and Saka can go forward when we are advancing. Xhaka will cover off on the left like he normally does for Saka when Saka plays at left back. We have to figure out on the right how it works. But that's the support Arteta provides for his left back, and also to release some of the pressure on Aubameyang coming back to help defensively. So Saka will cover that. he will use Ceballos and Saka sort of more forward than Xhaka. Xhaka will play. He's going to have some training touch there. We can't put Willock and Saka in the same team. They're very young, and as Guna says, you don't want to destroy their confidence. At the same time, they are grown-ups, frankly, because they're playing a man's game. They're skillful players. They have a lot of legs. I think they'll both play, but I think Saka will start first, and Willock may come on a little bit later on. But I think he may play Ceballos on the right and have Ceballos and or Saka go at the defense a lot of times. When Saka goes, he has Xhaka rotating around to cover off in that left position. But hopefully he doesn't play my favorite player and plays that sort of 4-3-3 team with Ceballos and Saka playing ahead of Xhaka. But I think Xhaka will play the CM.
I think Xhaka will play, as I said to La African Goon, I think he will play, and I think that's who I'm going to choose to go in at right, holding midfield. I just think that he's not going to bench him, and I think the person who's going to be benched here is Ozil. I really do. I think that it's going to be Ceballos who's going to be playing at the point, and I think that whole Saka coming in to join Xhaka, God, what a tongue twist. I think that's going to change everything. I still think you got some frailties with Xhaka, but I think he's going to play more of a sweeper role, and they're going to try and keep him locked down in front of that back four. That's what I think is going to happen. So I'm going with Xhaka, same as you, Bertram. The African Guna, who are you going through in that position?
Yeah, I would definitely go with Torreira if he's match fit. I mean, if he isn't, to be honest, I would go for Ceballos. So I'm not really sure what I want. I mean, ideally in a everyone's fit world, I'm going for Torreira.
Okay, so we've got 2 votes for Xhaka and 1 for Ceballos in that position. Ebony, talk to me. Who do you want there?
Well, Granit Xhaka will never get anywhere in my team, so it's going to be Torreira, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and again, I don't think anyone's confirmed his fitness. He's definitely not fit to play, so he won't be playing this week.
Hopefully he is fit, because he's more of a defensive player anyway. Xhaka isn't. Xhaka, nobody actually knows what type of player, what type of midfielder he is. I don't even think he knows what type of midfielder he is. He gets no win in my team. He'll concede goals. Xhaka. Torreira.
Okay, Tony. Before you go, we've got who have we got? We've got 18 saying Ceballos. Joseph is saying Joe Willock. Good call. But again, has he showed the manager enough to get into that first team? That's the big question. That's where I would have to talk to Mikel Arteta and see where he's going to go with this. Has he proved his chance? Look, Beat Bodre is just saying, Beats is saying Arsenal have no chance. They have no. I think they have a chance because of Arteta. You know, he was there when Jack built that house of championship winning teams at City, and he definitely knows how to destroy it. Will he is the big question. Nitesh is saying he can play Niles along with Ceballos too. Yeah, he was doing that. He was trialing Niles, but Niles was playing further up the pitch in an attacking midfielder role. Remember, Niles made the first Lacazette goal when he beat the defender in the air, nodded it down to Lacazette, and Lacazette smashed it into the back of the net. And Niles has looked decent there, but you know, he did make a slip up, which cost one of the goals. So did Lacazette as well. We need to call them all out when they make a mistake too. So Ebony, you're going for Torreira F. Okay, Tony, yep. Who are you going to plug in there, Tony?
Well, I'll go back to my team. And I don't know why you lot are writing off Torreira, because did you see that man flex in his muscles? My guy looks like a destroyer right now. He looks like he's ready to go to war for the planet. So I don't know why you're saying he's unfit, but me personally, the guy is in. He's there. Right. According to Pain in the Arsenal and according to Football London, which is Tashan, Tashan's one of the editors there at Football London. Big shout out to you, Tashan. Tashan is saying that they believes that they have a fitness test on Tuesday, and Torreira. Hold on a second. Torreira, Chambers, and Cedric Soares are part of that fitness test. So it's a late fitness test that we're going through. So we don't know.
is the question. He's got his.
Okay.
Let's put him through at 50-50 doubtful.
So as I said, my pick was Torreira. He's in my team that I gave you all in the chat earlier, and I put in my impact substitutions. Should we need him at center midfield? The man that nobody's mentioned, the guy that has played in preseason, Matthew Guendouzi. He's my impact number 5 player on the bench to come in and change things if we need it.
So who starts?
Starts is Torreira, brother.
Yeah. Now I've read that article, La African Guna and Bertram and Ebony, I'm going to change to Torreira. If he is fit, then I put him next to Saka. I definitely would do that. And Xhaka can kiss my ass and he can sit on the bench for the first time.
So are we picking the team we think is going to be on the field or the team that we would like to be on the field?
We're picking a team by committee. It's done on the votes here. So whoever gets the most votes.
There's no way Torreira guys, you don't realize Torreira get overrun against a better team.
Nah.
Torreira can play with the ball.
Look what he done to Liverpool and Spurs last season, man. Come on. He hasn't played.
Torreira gets overrun against a better team physically. He gets overrun. He looks like a little man in a giant field. I'm telling you, I've watched him.
Bertram,
he gets overrun.
Bertram, let's not get this twisted, Bertram. This season, he has not played in this position until he came back from injury. When he came back from injury, and Arteta came in, Arteta played him there for one game, and he got injured. But the rest of the games, he was playing at the point in the diamond.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Apollo. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying when I've seen Torreira play, and I like Torreira, he's not what we need.
Okay, so let's go back to our guys here in the chat room. And let's have a look. Joseph is saying, Guendouzi, Saka, Ceballos in the midfield. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad shout, mate. James did say Torreira, and he just wants to reiterate that point. And stylists say, if so, I say Torreira as well. Yeah, we need to figure out what's going to happen with that late fitness test, but it definitely looks like that it's a possibility that he can play. And if he can, then I would like him to join Saka in the midfield. That would be an awesome midfield.
Remember, we can only play with 11 players, by the way, guys. We can only play with 11 players. Just want to say.
So, guys, this means that we move to our front three and then the main striker. So, what shall we do the number 10 first? Let's do the number 10. So, who goes at the point?
There's no number 10.
Yeah, in this system, it's pretty much going to be...
Right, you're playing 4-3-3. There's no 10 there.
No 4-3-3. No 4-3-3.
We just named a 4-3-3 team a while ago. We said a centre-mid of Torreira, Saka, and Ceballos.
All right. Arteta, since day one at Arsenal, has played a 4-2-3-1. He's not changed from that. That's what he'll play.
But I'm just saying the right and the left midfielders will rotate about who attacks. There's no set 4-2-3-1. There's no set. I don't see a set team.
Again, for those of you in the chat who are working out Mikel Arteta's tactics, his tactics does shift in game. He plays a base 4-2-3-1 setup. However, when they make the first pass, when the first pass is gone, they transform to a 3-2-5 because they move the wing backs up the pitch, and it then becomes a progressive attacking mode. It transforms into attacking formation. They have the three at the back. One of the holdings moves back into the left back position, and that left back moves up as an attacking player, and the formation shifts. When the team doesn't have the ball, they move to a base 4-2-2. 4-4-2. Yeah, when they don't have the ball and they're playing a rondo, it becomes much more compact and tight, and they move into a hunting pack. So we're talking about formations, but they shift 3 times while the team's playing, and that's how Arteta has worked. It's slightly different from Guardiola. Guardiola plays a base 4-3-3. Arteta doesn't do that. Yeah. So where are we? We're on the
number 10.
We're on the number 10 who plays behind the striker. So Bertram, who are we going with? The guy in the middle who plays behind the striker. Where are we going with that?
So I'm going to reiterate. I don't care what he did previously. I think Arteta is matching up against his opponent. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to use a certain formation that doesn't marry equally, then you lend yourself, when you can't transition from defense to offense or vice versa, to being exposed. I think he plays Ceballos on the right, and Ceballos or Saka will eventually end up in a 10 spot throughout the game. Now, if you're saying a pure number 10, Ceballos is not the greatest passer. Ceballos does turn around. He keeps the ball really well, but he's not splitting defense with passes, nor does he score goal. So it makes it very, very difficult to say he's guaranteed to be in that slot. But Maitland-Niles isn't ready. Maitland-Niles isn't ready, so it has to be Ceballos.
I think we have to call it the slot because natively, Guardiola doesn't play with a number 10, and a number 10's a dying breed because of the new system teams are playing. So, yeah, we have to just call it the slot or something else. I don't think Ozil's going to be there. That's my personal opinion. And I think it's going to be Ceballos. I think Ceballos has done a great job in facilitating the strikers. Since he's been playing him there, we've had great production. We've had 3 goals against Everton, 4 goals against Newcastle. And I think that the team has shown progressively that they've adapted to Arteta's attacking style. We've looked a better team with Ceballos playing up further the field. He plays there for Spain. Arteta's mentioned that many times. He said he doesn't play at the holding role. He plays on the attacking front 3. And this is where Arteta likes to see him do his work. African Guna. And guys in the chat, who have we got now? We've got 18 saying Ceballos in that position. Can't really see anything else. James is saying Ceballos as well. African Guna, where are we going with this one?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First of all, I mean, yeah, definitely not Bertram's favorite player. Lazy is definitely not going to get into the team because, I mean, if he is in the team, it's basically 10v11, and our midfield is totally going to get dominated. And, I mean, he just won't do the defensive work. That's the reality. Although I do think that Ozil might come on in the 70th minutes for the last 20 minutes, regardless of if we're losing or winning. I think that might be something that we might see. But, yeah, for me, Ceballos, 100%. I think Bertram is quite harsh in analyzing his play. I don't think we've given him – it's not really his fault. I mean, he had injuries and stuff, but we haven't seen enough of him to really say whether he can score goals or not. I think he's capable of scoring goals in the midfield. He just hasn't had the opportunity, and he hasn't had players around him playing at a high level with free-flowing football. So I think that Ceballos has a lot to prove, and I think that he potentially could show us that in this game. And he is a good passer, Bertram. He does it for Spain. He did it for Madrid. He is a good passer.
Okay, so we've got 2 votes for Ceballos. Bertram, who was your vote again?
Ceballos. I'm not saying he's a good passer. There's a difference between being a good passer and can split defense to create opportunities for your team. Ozil does that. Ozil can split the defense. He just doesn't do anything else. Ceballos actually is good on the ball. He passes really well. I just don't see him creating those opportunities for his forwards to score a goal. So you're right.
Yeah, one second before we move on. How many? So Bertram, how many splitting passes does Ozil make in a game? Maybe 1 or 2. I think that in terms of output, Ceballos can make those 1 or 2. They might not be as impressive, but I think he definitely has the potential to make those passes like Ozil does, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, okay, so we've got 3 votes, including mine, for Ceballos. So regardless of what Ebony and Tony are saying, that's who we're going to lock in at that position. Ebony, who would you have gone for anyway, or do you go for Ceballos?
I would have gone for Ceballos anyway. I think he's an all right passer of the ball. Maybe he can't split defenses, but, in this game against Man City, if he can pick up a good pass, that's important. That's equally as important.
Excellent. Tony, what are you saying on this? Who slots in there?
Ceballos is in my team, brother. Ceballos is in my team. We need hard work in this game.
Yeah.
We cannot afford to take stragglers. It can only be Ceballos.
And Tony, are people forgetting about the defensive work that Ceballos does for the team as well? We're here talking about offense and he's passing.
Ultimately, you need 11 players who can attack and defend. You cannot afford to have an Ozil who primarily runs around but doesn't defend. You can't afford that against Man City. As I said last week, I don't think we stand a cat's chance in hell of winning this game. But if I'm giving it my best shot, I need 11 runners. And I expect them to run their heart off for 70 minutes and then 5 new runners to come on and take up the mantle and run their heart off for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it has to change, Tony, because as I said, we have never had a winning formula against this team. The last time we went up there and won Arteta was the captain and he did the game plan with the players meeting. Since then, we've been dead awful. And we need to come in there and change it. If you walk in there with the same old team and do the same old things, well, guess what? 17 goals let in and only 2 games scored. Only 2 goals scored in the last 6 games against this team. So it has to be changed from a tactical standpoint, from a player standpoint. It needs to be changed. So evening, Alex. I hope you're doing well, mate. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. And we are going to moving on to probably what is going to be the most controversial position in this team, the attacking left striker position. We are going to be looking at this. This position, guys, will define the whole system that Arsenal are going to play. If it's Martinelli, then that means Aubameyang goes in as the main striker. If it's Aubameyang, that means he plugs in Nketiah or Lacazette as the main striker. So this position really is going to tell us everything that we need to know about how well this team is going to set up. Let's go with Bertram. And guys in the chat, who's going to play at this attacking left midfielder role? Let's hear it, man. Bertram.
So 2 things. One is, if I was picking a team and it's my team, then Pepe would play the 10. No doubt in my mind Pepe would play the 10. Fernandinho likes to fall a lot. You take Pepe and beat him a couple of times, couple of fouls, he's out the game. That's how I put pressure on the team. I force their center mid to make tackles. We don't have that ability to go by the first tackler there. So if I was picking the team, Pepe plays the 10, and wouldn't worry about the forward till they pick themselves. He'll play Abba on the left, so I'll put Abba on the left.
Well, you're going to laugh when you see my choice for the right wing position. I'm going to tell you now, it's not going to be Pepe. I think that's going to be a tactical decision, and I think he's going to put somebody on the right to help deal with Raheem Sterling. And I don't think it's going to be Pepe. I think Pepe is going to be dropped to the bench. But on the left side, who are you going with, Bertram?
I'm going with Abba.
Okay. So we've got who's agreeing with you. We've got 18 who says Aubameyang on the left. Simpy is saying, I want it to be Gabby, but he will put Aubameyang there. Yeah, he'll put Aubameyang there. He definitely will. He's the captain. He's not going to drop him. But if the only way to get him in a team, then is look. The one thing, Simpy, that we all agree, when I did the live chat with you, Simpy, we all talked about this. We were saying, isn't it funny that Aubameyang is being moved out into that Thierry Henry role on the left, and he's still scoring goals? So, if we solve the problem in the middle with the main number 9, if we solve that, whether it's with Lacazette, whether it's with Nketiah, if we get goals in the 6-yard box, then we're laughing, aren't we? Because the problem of not getting any support for Aubameyang, if we're dependent on one guy to score a goal in the whole game, then that's the wrong thing to do. And we know that Pepe is very productive on both ends. We know he's a great person at set pieces, and we know that he can score a goal. The trick really is to find the front three that we had, like in 2017 when we had Walcott, Sanchez, and we had Giroud banging in goals, and then Ozil chipping in at 12. That's what we're lacking. That's what we don't have. So we have to find some goals. And that's why I think that Aubameyang will stay there on the left to kind of try and help what's going on in the middle. However, Aubameyang's going to put in a defensive shift, which is the reason why I talked about Pepe on the right side. If he doesn't work his socks off on that line, then we're in big trouble. And look, some games he's done it, some games he hasn't. Carlito saying Martinelli on the left and Ubit in the middle, Pepe on the right, and Laka as an impact player. That might work as well. Lacazette's form had dropped off badly. Since then, he's had 4 goals in the last 3 games coming off the bench. So do you start Lacazette on the bench? Tony alluded to this last week when everyone was talking about, this is going to happen. That Tony was like, hold on a second, Manchester City's bench would eat us alive. What's going to happen after the 70th minute? We need to have a contingency plan for after the 70th minute. So we've got, who have we got here? Bertram on the left. We've got
Abba, and I think Abba doesn't play a true left like a Sterling plays a left, right? Or a Sane plays a left. They play on the line, they play wide all game, and they go down the line. Saka does most of that. Abba rotates inside a lot of times, and Xhaka moves over the cover point. We're talking about formation and strategy. So when we talk about Abba on the left, that's why he scored so much goal, because he's always rotating inside and creating that space for Saka to go down the left. So I wouldn't say just clearly pure that Abba is a left winger in the traditional old sense. I think he does play on the left, but I think he moves inside, and that's why you can look for to play Tierney and Saka together. They'll cover for each other when either one of them go, and you have the left covered, so Abba doesn't have to come back as much to help defend.
Yeah, and it's that overlap. If we have that overlap with Aubameyang, it's just beautiful to watch with him and Saka. And I'd like to see Kieran Tierney play a part in that. Kieran Tierney, I really want this guy to have a coming out party. I want him to have a real great game. African Guna, where are you going with this? And before you say that, Carletto, I think I read this. Yeah, I think I read that before. James was saying Laka on the left. That's a new one. Eddie starts up front. Aubameyang on the right. The only problem I see with that, James, is Laka and Aubameyang are not really acute defensively. So when we don't have the ball and we have to change into that 4-4-2 formation, then they're probably going to cost you. That's the reason why I don't think Pepe is going to play in this game. But let's see how it works out. Sam saying Aubameyang scores goals because he's a goal scorer. True. But his general play on the left is not good enough. It's not good enough, but his aptitude on the overlap of you just heard Bertram talking about him being able to move inside and Saka then moves left. He can do that really well, and that means he'll be an option there as a goal scorer as well. The key aspect is understanding when you're moving into a different position that you have cover in your main position, and I think that moving Saka to a holding midfielder is a masterstroke. I really do. I think it's a masterstroke. So let's see what happens with that. African Guna.
Yeah, there's only one thing for me to say, and it's Martinelli. Martinelli. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's come to the point now where we have 10 games left. You know, we can't be playing Oba on the left wing. We need him to go back to central striker. I mean, if Lacazette wants his playing time, he's going to have to earn his stripes. I'm sorry. And that's how it's going to have to be. For me, you can't drop Pepe out of the team. I mean, we've already played almost half a season without him in the team and waiting for him to adjust. I think now, regardless of who plays up front and who plays on the left, Pepe has to play and Martinelli has to play. And I think he can survive the whole game too. I think he's been, over the last 2 months or whatever, he's been kind of, I've seen videos of him training at home, lifting weights, keeping in shape. So and in terms of defensive work, again, we were talking about the legs. I'm sorry, I love Oba, but he can't do the defensive work for us. I mean, he can maybe for at least one half, but not for the full game. And we don't need him to be tracking back defensively. We want him to get in behind the defenders. So he needs to play up top for me, and therefore, I mean, Martinelli, easy. And I'm hoping he scores a goal for us.
Yeah, that's a good shot. We've got some people actually agreeing with you. We've got Stylist is saying, I'd rather play Martinelli on the left, but I think he'll start Uber there. And again, I can't see any other way, because the question is then where's the goals going to come from? It's a really tough one. Cool K also is going for Martinelli on the left. Ebony, who are you going to go for on the left?
Martinelli all day long.
Wow.
And I would also put Aubameyang right up at the front as well. At the end of the day, Aubameyang is a goal scorer. He is that fox in the box that we crave. Leave him at the front. Let Martinelli cut in from the left and provide the goals. And if he's going to score goals, let him. But let him be the back provider for Aubameyang to actually get on the end of the ball. So Martinelli all day long.
I think this is very interesting, and it looks like he might take that position. I just want to go back to Tony's point in terms of wouldn't he be better suited as an impact player in the 70th minute when players are going to be a lot tired earlier on than the 70th minute. But how is that going to work then?
So if I may address that, Apollo, that means that in your mind, there's some part of you that's saying maybe to play Nketiah up front. And that, for me, might be the blocker for you of why you wouldn't start Martinelli. Martinelli he's running for days. He's providing constant output regardless.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And this isn't. I'm a big Nketiah fan, but I actually don't think he's going to play. I think that Arteta is going to give Lacazette a chance. I think he's going to give him a last chance to prove that he can be that main striker. I really do. But I'm stuck with this one.
I agree with the general view about Martinelli. However, I'm picking a team that I think is going to go on the field. That's why we say Pepe number 10. He's not going to start Martinelli. Emery didn't start him a lot in PL games. He's not going to start him a lot in PL. For some reason, Martinelli has been one of the best players since the preseason.
But he's been
hasn't played as much as he should, which makes no sense to me. And in fact, Martinelli can play any place across the front line. He's just as effective up front where he heads the ball, he scores with both foot, he pressures the defense continuously. He is the person who should be guaranteed to start on the front line, and he's not.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think he's not playing because of the system that Arteta is trying to work. I'm really torn on this, guys. I've got to be honest with you. I'm torn on it, but I'm going to go with Aubameyang because I think that's what the boss is going to do. I think he's been there all season. He's provided goals there all season, and I think you fix everything else, and then you focus on what's going to happen elsewhere at the number 9. Look, if you just put him at the point, then all the goals will dry up. And if you're getting goals on the left-hand side, I think you can work with everything. So I'm going to have to agree with you, Bertram. So that's 2 votes for Aubameyang and 2 votes for Martinelli. Tony, you've got the deciding vote here.
I'm totally confused. What position are we choosing?
Attacking
left midfield, the left.
Attacking left.
Okay, I've got Aubameyang in my starting 11, but he's not my attacking left midfielder. I haven't got Martinelli in my starting 11. It's a 2-all draw, so I have to go with one of the 2 options you've given. My view is Aubameyang must start up front. So I guess I have to go with Martinelli.
Wow. Okay, cool. Okay, so Martinelli, guys, is the guy who we're going to play from 101 against Manchester City. Wow. So, and look, I'm loving that. You know, if he plays him, that's great because remember what I said before, this position this will break the chain of the whole setup. That means that the point player is going to be Aubameyang. So I'm talking about Lacazette, Nketiah. I really don't think that any of them gets a choice here. Aubameyang would be put at that point. But let's cover the right side first. Let's go for the right-sided attacking midfield player. Bertram, and guys in the chat, yeah? Who's going to start on the right? Is it going to be Reece Nelson? Is it going to be Pepe? Is Joe Willock going to go in there? What's going to happen on the right, guys? Bertram, you got the conch.
I don't see Joe Willock playing out wide. I think he's better inside. You need speed and skill. I think it has to be Pepe. I don't think Nelson has potential, but I don't see him ready for this game. It's a really big game. Last time I saw him against Liverpool, it looked like a deer with headlights. He wasn't really there. And that may sound a bit harsh, but that's the way I saw it. I do think Pepe has to start prove his price tag. He has to start prove that he's worth that number. And this is a game of all games where Arteta would be lambasted if he didn't start him. He cannot justify not starting him, especially if he's in condition. If he's in shape, he has to start him. He doesn't have a choice.
You know why I'm laughing, right? I haven't chosen Pepe, but you know why I'm laughing? Because the statement you just made was when we bought Lacazette and we went up to Anfield with our £60 million striker and put him on the bench and got whooped. What was it, 4-0, La African Guna? Was it 3-0 or 4-0 we lost?
I think it was 4-0.
I think it was 4-0. And we all looked at each other and was like, what the hell just happened there? We just paid 60 million for a striker we've been chasing for 2 years. You drive up to Anfield and you put him on the bench. It just didn't make no sense. So, but I think this is slightly different than that. I think this isn't the same. This is very different where we're going with. And my choice would be Reece Nelson, and that would be because of a defensive choice against Raheem Sterling. I can't see Pepe putting a defensive shift, and I think that they will overrun him on that right-hand side, and I think it will cause major problems for Bellerin. And I think the decision that Arteta would take would be to plug in Reiss Nelson to give Bellerin that support on the defensive side, knowing that he can still go forward, he can get past the man, he can beat players, and he has a really good cross on him as well to provide something on the front end. So I would go for Reiss Nelson. So Bertram, so you're going with Pepe.
Pepe all day. Yep.
I'm going with Reiss Nelson. Simpy's going with Pepe. 18's going with Reiss Nelson. Have we got any? And we're all torn between them, mate. That's what makes this really hard. Style.
I'm not torn.
Style, we're all torn between both of them.
Neither am I.
Guys in the chat, where are you going? Who's going to start on this right-hand side? Let's go to the African Guna.
As Tony famously says, I mean, it's a straightforward one. Apollo, I can't believe you're even considering this. Now, let me put this to you. What difference? What great difference is there between Nelson and Pepe defensively? What has Nelson showed you that makes you feel like he is better defensively? I don't think there's much of a difference, if at all. And I think in terms of attacking prowess, I mean, Pepe far outshines or outweighs Nelson. So for me, it's an easy one. And as we discussed, I mean, obviously 72 million and not starting him. I mean, we've gone through at least 8-9 games in the beginning of the season when we were all like, what the heck is going on? Why isn't he playing? Why isn't he playing? So why all of a sudden are we even considering Nelson? Yes, 100% Nelson should come on as an impact player. But I mean, Pepe has to start and he needs to start producing. These big games is when you need your star players to show up. And I think if we have, as we said, Martinelli, Pepe, and Aubameyang all starting together, that's frightening. And I think that Man City might, be wary of going all gung-ho attacking-wise because we might get them on the counter. And Arteta will definitely be looking at that. So, yeah, Pepe all day, President's blood.
Okay, so the answer to your question is you haven't seen Reiss Nelson play even in a youth setup. He's had spells at right back as well. He can defend way better than Pepe. It's not even close. It's not even a question.
Not way better.
Pepe can't defend. Pepe hasn't shown me.
And now they're the same for me. I mean, if you look at them, if you ask, why don't you ask the panel defensively if there's much of a difference between Nelson and Pepe defensively? I think it would be.
I mean, and we're mixed on it. A lot of people have gone for different players. Have we got any new ones? Style is saying that he thinks he'll pick Pepe. Sam is saying Pepe can't run past players and open up City's defense. I think this is, again, guys, you've got to think tactics. You've got to think semantics. Pepe is going to get, and I'm telling you this now because you're going to see it on Wednesday night, he's going to get obliterated by that right-hand side defensively. He'll be left on an island and he will offer Bellerin no support whatsoever. And I don't think that Arteta is going to go in there. He might do, yeah? And he might give Pepe different instructions. I don't know. But I think the option defensively would be better for Arsenal to put someone in there who knows how to defend, knows positioning, knows how to tackle, because I don't think Pepe is going to give you that. And I love Pepe. I'm the biggest Pepe fan outside of Bertram. But I just think that this is going to be a tactical game that's going to provide us with very different changes. Cricket Ball, good to see you, man. You've been missing for a week. I don't think I've seen you in the last couple of weeks. It says, good evening. Pepe on the right all day long. Him on the right and Martinelli on the left. Those guys will trouble City all day long. It looks like that's probably what we're going to have here in our setup, mate. It definitely looks like, 18, you've already said Nelson and you're saying Nelson again. Ebony, you got the conch. Who are you going for on that right-hand side?
Right. I really do believe in Pepe. I really do. And I think, this is like one of the games that, he can actually come to light. He can actually prove people wrong. I don't know what's happened in training. I'd like to think that Pepe's actually worked on his defensive skills, if you like, during training. But I'm going to stick with Pepe. I believe in Pepe. I believe that he will show why he is in the team.
Excellent. So because we've had Bertram, La African Guna, and Ebony have all gone for Pepe, Pepe gets a lock in there by default. Tony, who would you have gone for in that situation?
Pepe, simple. Thank you. Goodbye.
So that's at 4-1 on Pepe. So, guys, it's looking like a great team right now. That three behind the main strikers, Martinelli, Ceballos, and Pepe. Wow. So this means that the main number 9 striker, there's only one name, really, is it? Yeah, it's the captain. Is it really worth us going? I'm going to go around to you lot anyway. Bertram, you go quickly.
I missed the question, sorry.
The main striker, number 9, the anchor man.
Laka.
Oh, wow. So, wow. Okay. Lacazette. Okay. Lacazette.
Well, if I have Abba on the left and Abba can't play 2 positions, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for real. I had Abba on
the left, so he's centre forward. Laka is centre forward.
I had Abba on the left as well, but because he's not there, he's got to get him into the team. He's the captain. He's got to play. La African Guna, guys in the chat, who goes as the main striker?
Obama Black Clot Young. I mean, yeah, it has to be. I mean, Lacazette is definitely going to get his chance, but I think that in this game, I mean, he's not going to start for me. He's going to come on as the impact sub, 60th, 70th minute, maybe when we're chasing a goal. And we need to just go for it, and that's when he'll bring him on.
Excellent. Look, 18 going for Obama Blood Clot Young as well. And Ebony.
PEA all day long.
Yep, there is.
Emerick Aubameyang all day long.
And Tony, who's going in there for you?
Yep, same guy.
Excellent.
You want to be that guy?
Simon's saying Obama who, Obama what? Listen, so guys, we have our main team. We've got our team right here that's going to face Manchester City, and we've got Leno in goal. We've got Tierney at right back. We've got Pablo Mari and David Luiz at centre back. We've got Bellerin at right back. Sorry, I said Tierney right back. It's left back. Bellerin at right back. We've got Torreira and Saka in the middle as holding. I absolutely love that midfield. And even better, we've got Martinelli on the left, which is a fan's dream. We've got Ceballos in the slot. We've got Pepe on the right. And we've got Aubameyang at the point. That is something very different than what we've seen this season. And Manchester City, guys, would not be ready for a team like this. Bertram, let's have your overall feeling on this first 11. And guys in the chat, what's your opinion? Do you think this team, now we've got the team set, what's going to be the result on Wednesday with this team if we play Manchester City? Bertram, you go.
So, as the team, look, I like the team except for Torreira. I just see him play. When you're diminutive as he is, you got to be a Xavi or Iniesta type player. I just don't see that in Torreira. I'm of a bulldog he is. He just doesn't cover enough space. He doesn't cover enough ground to be able to keep up with the De Bruynes of the world and the Silvas of the world. He just doesn't. The Fernandes, the Rodriguez of the world. He just will be lost in that midfield. I don't see him in that place. But if he's there, it's a good team. I do see a lot of legs in Saka. Ceballos has legs because legs are important. No matter how skillful you are, you have to be able to keep up with Man City's team that plays space the field out. They play very, very wide. The wingers play in the touchline. Want to create as much space as possible because they know they have the skills to go by people and to be able to move between the lines and get the ball into their players. So I do think it's a good team. I actually think that attacking team I like really very much so. I'd prefer Pepe at the number 10 slot and put Nelson outside because I think we need to isolate Pepe and players. The problem with Pepe is when he gets the ball, there's 2 and 3 players, just like a Zaha who's covering him, and he holds onto the ball too long. He doesn't move and get the ball back, and so then he can't show his magic. But if you look at Abba and Laka when they were asked a question about who's the level of skill in the team, they were just laughing about Pepe because they've seen his ability, and they were laughing thinking his skill set is unbelievable when you can isolate it. And when he played against Liverpool, if he had put his chances away in the first game that we played and Emery played him up top, he probably would have developed much more confidence if he had scored in that game. Because the reason why he was put there by Emery, because in isolation, he's unplayable. So it's a good team. It's young in the middle somewhat between Ceballos and Torreira and Saka. But I think it give Man City a game. Would we win? I predicted 3-1. I may even change the 4-1 because the more I think about when Tony showed me the lineup for Man City, their bench, not their starting team, I smiled thinking, This is a ridiculous team. They have a lot of quality.
They have a lot. But who is the most two important people coming off the bench for Arsenal for you? Who would be the most important two impact players coming off the bench?
Well, based on the team we have now, obviously Laka would be one of those players. I'm not sure I see anyone else who is that impactful apart from Laka. We could talk about Nelson. We could talk about Nelson. We could talk about any other player, but Laka would be one impactful player. I don't see anyone else that jumps out at me to say this person can be a difference maker.
Not Reece Nelson?
Would I give you a suggestion?
Reece was good in Germany. He hasn't been good so far this season. He's been injured a lot, so it's hard to judge.
Can I give you a suggestion of a certain Matthew Guendouzi can sometimes pick up the game by the scruff of the neck and make a difference? He's a difference maker sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah, I think.
But this is not Aston Villa. We played with 10 men and he was all over the place. This is Man City. This is a big boys team. This is not a junior league team you play in the games. This is not Aston Villa or Watford. This is Man City. It's hard to make your mark unless you're a total difference maker. He's not a. I see him as a very good player. I just don't see him being that difference maker.
When we beat Man United at the Emirates 2-0 after that stupid Chelsea game we threw away with Leno's mistake, Guendouzi bossed Man United. Absolutely ripped him to shreds in the midfield. They couldn't get anywhere near him. He was brilliant in that game. I think he was my man in the match that game.
And who was Man United midfield again? I think just remind me.
McTominay.
No. I want Apollo to remind me Man United midfield. Rodrigo, Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Silva, both Silvas. I mean, guys, we're talking about world class versus good players.
Yeah,
there's a big difference.
Yeah. That I could just feel the panel, the temperature just dropped down slightly. We had the heat. We were cooking at 90 degrees, and after that, Bertram, it kind of feel a little bit cold here at the moment now.
There's a lot of quality there. There's quality all around. I mean, they spend a lot of money. Look at the spend, the net spend. Even though I think net spend is not a good way to judge, I think gross spend is better. Because when you sell like a Suarez or you sell a Coutinho for 100 million, of course your net spend is going to be smaller than others who don't have that same salable players. But I don't think, this team will give them a good run, but I don't expect us to come out on top. I hope we win. Yeah, people may think I'm anti-Arsenal. I'm to the opposite.
Oh, you're not anti-Arsenal. Look, out of everybody, we did the predictor last week, and I came up with 14 points. I've had no backlash with that because people know I'm a realist, yeah? And it's funny enough, we looked at the prediction that Tony sent us in our little chat room, and they predicted 12, which was my original number. When I was on Sonny's show, I said we were going to get 12 points out of the possible 30. And that's what that predictor computer actually picked out with us, because honestly, that's all the points I can see us getting. I'm going through on what we've done before. However, I think this is going to be different. It's a whole new preseason. It's a whole new setup that we've got now. And I think that things might be different, but they might not be. And if they're not, then I can't see us getting more than 15 points out of the next possible 30. That's just my opinion. But let's see what the guys are saying. 18 saying we're going to win 2-1. Carletto, has Arteta started Martinelli in the Premier? Not for a long time, bro. Not for a long time. Martinelli can't play left wing. He can't feed the ball to Uber. Saka needs to play there. Martinelli has great attitude, work rate, etc., but he doesn't have the killer pass there. I think he can do a lot on the left. I think he can do a lot anywhere. The only time I didn't see him play well was when he took Pepe's position on the right, and it was just like, why would you even play him there when he's been shining on the left all season long? I just didn't understand that. Sam has said, I love this lineup and would take Pep and City by surprise. I think it would. I agree, Sam. But we know we'll see Xhaka and Ozil come. Yeah, if we walk in there with Xhaka and Ozil, we're going to get overrun. And there's no two ways about it. I like Ozil. I'm not Xhaka's biggest fan. I'm not his fan at all, actually. I still haven't forgiven him for swearing at the fans. And forever, I will hold that against him as long as he plays for Arsenal. For me, I still don't respect the player. And until he comes out and formally apologizes for what he did, I won't have any respect for the player. I said from day one, Arsenal, with him in the team, has never been in a top 4, and we never will. Yeah. Cool K is saying Arsenal's going to win 3-0. We'll blow them out. Style is saying Arsenal 3-2 win. James is saying, James, the 3 has to be on the other side in order for us to win. So that looks like 3-0 Man City. He's also saying Eddie and Martinelli are going to be impactful coming off the bench. What have we got here? Big shout outs for some Guendouzi as well. James is shouting at Guendouzi. Carletto's talking at Nketiah, and yeah, that for me would be the massive impact coming off the bench. Not really sure about Lacazette, but Lacazette has scored goals off the bench, so that would be proper if we did that. Scricket Ball is saying, don't forget you can make 5 subs. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Who's going to be the 2 biggest impact players coming off the bench? Let African Guna, what would your prediction be, and who's going to be the 2 biggest guys impacts coming off the bench?
So firstly, I just want to put it out there that this team would be, apart from Saka, because I don't think that moving forward, and even in this game, he'd be playing there. But I think overall, this team would be the team that I'd pick against every single in every single match moving forward. That would be my team. Apart from Ceballos, I think I would put Ozil in there against the smaller teams and in home games. I'd play Ozil instead of Ceballos. But apart from that, that's my starting 11 for almost every game. I think in terms of this match, as we all stated, we all are gassed. You know, the Premier League's coming back. We're optimists. I mean, obviously we're diehard fans, which is why we spend 2 hours talking about this stuff. But I think either one of 2 things is going to happen. Either one will be competitive for quite a long time, and then eventually, you know, City's, I guess, talents around the pitch will start to shine and we're going to crack. Or 2, actually 3 things. 2, they might just overrun us from the beginning. I mean, because we have a very attacking team here. And, you know, a team that hasn't, to be honest, played with each other in the Premier League at all. I mean, it's different when you play in training and when you play, you know, obviously on live TV. So hopefully that doesn't happen and Man City doesn't overrun us, because I really wouldn't like to see us losing 3-4-0. Or, you know, we might get surprised and, you know, the boys might show up and actually give a good performance, and we might sneak a 2-1 or a 3-2 win, as I said earlier before. So yeah, no, this team looks pretty good to me. In terms of impact players, I mean, for me, 100% Lacazette and Guendouzi. I mean, Tony's totally right. And I love Guendouzi. I think that he has a lot of maturing to do. He kind of reminds me of Ronaldo. I mean, when he was younger, you know, Ronaldo used to always, anybody who'd touch him, he'd fall down and he'd cry like a baby. Guendouzi needs to iron that out of his game. He does that too much for me. And even though sometimes he does it in the right positions when he's about to lose the ball, and I mean, if he loses it in that position, it's probably a goal scoring chance. He needs to be better with protecting the ball and, you know, getting rid of it and not holding on too long. And potentially for me, no one has mentioned this, but I think Ozil, I mean, you know, I always have faith in him. Unfortunately, he always lets me down. But I mean, he has the talent to change the game, so he can be an impact player. I mean, we can't deny that. It's just if he wants to put in that 110% and show up, he can be an impact player. I don't have.
I forgot Guna was doing so well. You were doing so well, and then you had to spoil it. Like,
listen,
you were doing awesome, and then you just spoiled it.
Wait, let me just say something, Bertram. Remember about an hour ago, you were talking about how Ozil can make a splitting pass better than Ceballos. So that's my point. He can come on in the 70th minute. He just needs one pass to Aubameyang over the top, whatever it is. Just one pass.
If he doesn't start, you lose him. I understand this. He pouts, and you lose him.
Agreed.
He doesn't start, you pout, and you lose him.
I mean, if it's a 0-0 or a 1-1, right? I mean, and he comes in with a positive attitude, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he can have an impact. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying
we hope that's the case.
Yeah. So you're going for 2-1 to Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm going for 3-2 or 2-1. We will win by 1 goal.
Excellent. Carletto is going, statistics show home teams have not done. Yeah, we talked about that in the German Bundesliga. It's completely tip-topped sideways. It really has. There's no on-field advantage whatsoever in the Bundesliga, and we know that because there's the whole thing has gone. The 12th man has gone. I don't know how Liverpool are going to deal with that, even though they don't really need the cup because they've already won a title. So we'll have to wait and see what that is going to be about. Nitesh is going 3-1 to City. That is a very respectful scoreline. That is probably where the form guide between the two teams are going to be going. Scricketball's going 3-3. James is actually saying that Arsenal's going to win. Simpy's going 3-1 to City as well. And nice smiles there from James. And I think let's move on to Ebony. Ebony, who's going to be the two biggest impact players coming off the bench, and what's that squad going to do? I can get rid of the picture now.
Okay, we will win 2-1. Okay, I have confidence that we will surprise them with the team that we've agreed on. I also think for me, the two most impact players will be Guendouzi, because I think he has to surprise people now. Yes, he did surprise us against Man United, but now it's time for him to shine in another game so that he can press on forward. And I think if Laka doesn't start, then he can actually he'll score. I think he will score from the bench. He has done. I mean, I think he scored against was it Newcastle.
He's had 4 goals in his last 3 games off the bench.
Yeah, exactly. So if he's a little bit rested and he's a fresh pair of legs, come up on the pitch, then yeah, he'll be an impact. But we're gonna win 2-1.
Good, 2-1. See, this is what happens when you take a player who ain't doing their job. You bench them, yeah, and you let them fight back for their position, and you let them get some kind of form or hunger back. And what Eddie Nketiah has done, taking his spot, has forced Lacazette to improve. So let's see how that goes. Tony, who's going to be the 2 biggest impact players, all 3, and what's your prediction going to be on this lineup?
So my impact 5 included Guendouzi, Lacazette, Nelson. The other one of them's now starting. So the other one for me would have been up top. I would have said Willock would be. I mean, listen, I've just run out of names. There ain't nobody else left.
True.
The impact players are Lacazette and Guendouzi. The rest of the players that come on are just fillers.
Really? Nketiah would be a filler?
Yes.
He can. Wow. Okay. He can play out wide as well.
Okay. The point being, Lacazette as an option is your first option.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not going to bring on Nketiah if Lacazette is your first option to come off the bench. It's not like you're going to sub Aubameyang for Lacazette or bring on Lacazette for Martinelli looking for a goal and then bring on Nketiah as well. Not going to happen. You have to be realistic.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a tough one. So what do you think the score's going to be?
I think based on what I said last week, I think I went with a 3-1 to Man United, to Manchester City. Bertram, what did you go with?
3-1 Man City.
Yeah, and we agreed, didn't we, last week? So I went with 3-1 as well.
Yeah, I'm just answering James. James is saying, why all the dislike for Eddie? And Style is saying the same thing. I don't know, bro. These guys just don't. They're not Eddie fans, and I don't know.
I will rephrase that. Let me reposition that. We're not Eddie fans. We just don't think at this point in time Eddie's where he needs to be in terms of what we need. Eddie's a good player. Eddie's actually a better player than we probably think he is. He actually can dribble with the ball, even though he doesn't do so. He plays within himself. He can pass decently. He presses the defense. But at this point in time, Abba and Laka are ahead of Eddie. He started the last 3 league games, and in my opinion, he hasn't done enough to be dropped. He's done exactly what we wanted him to do in that anchor point position. Bertram, before we close up, we're over 2 hours now. Before we close up, what would be your biggest shock surprise on Wednesday in the team lineup? What would be your if this person started? What would be the biggest shock to you if we went, whoa, how did he get into the team? Who would that be for you? Maitland-Niles.
It's good.
I don't think Arteta likes Maitland or Guendouzi at this point. If you notice, those two played a lot under Emery. Guendouzi is obviously in the field under Arteta. He makes too many mistakes, and the problem with his mistakes was, as African Guna says, they're deep in his own half. We haven't been punished a lot because of his mistakes. But against the better teams, you're going to get punished. You can't afford to make those mistakes. And I think also his attitude seemed to have been a challenge for Arteta. So I would surprise if either Guendouzi or Maitland-Niles are on the field to start the game. But I could see Nketiah starting, actually, because I think Arteta likes him. I think he likes... Look, I think Arteta is like Guardiola. They like workers. No matter how good you are, you got to put a shift in. And Laka commits the second most foul on the team, and Laka hasn't started a ton of game all season. He's foul prone and he gives away goals. He gave away a goal against Chelsea. He gave a goal just recently against Brentford. He gives away goals for no reason, deep in his own half, trying to make a wall pass, which doesn't make sense to me. So look, you look at the entirety of the player and the entirety of the team, and you would say that this team on paper looks good. Would Arteta play this team? That's the question.
Yeah, and
I think Willock, between the goal he scored at Liverpool, which was a howler, and the goal he scored against Brentford, which was pass the ball in the net like Henry does, suggests that he has it in his repertoire. We talk about Ramsey a lot. I think Willock has that ability. He just has to get more game time.
And so we've got Arsenal TV saying, I don't want to give away too much because my preview will be out on Tuesday, but we'll go for a 2-2 draw. Big shout out to your channel, bro. Please, everybody in the chat, subscribe to this channel. And we've got some big ballers in the house as well. We've got Liam. We've got Cannon Fodder TV. Please subscribe to these guys. They're fantastic channels. Great content on them. Alex has gone for 3-1 to City. We've got trading guys saying, as I said earlier, the African Guna on fire tonight. It's a pleasure to always have him on the show. He's a great guy. He's young, but he knows his stuff. He is tactically adept. I love talking football with him, and we get into some real good discussions, and we respect each other as well. That's the main thing. When you talk to fans, the biggest problem we have in the fan base is everybody thinks they're right. When really what you should be doing is you should have your say and be open to what anybody's other opinions are, because we're all different. We're all not the same. We're not robots. We're not lemons. If one person thinks one way, they shouldn't convince somebody to think that way. You should respect what the person thinks and understand that we do have different opinions. And that's the quality of how forums are built on. Yeah, that's when you see some of these forums where the whole thing's being ripped down to shreds, it's because hell breaks loose because one guy doesn't agree with another and he thinks that he should. And that's not how we're all humans. We're all different. Respect the opinions of other fans, which is why I always ask for you guys' opinions in the panels, because I want to hear what you've got to say. It's it's subjective. It's different from me. It's the same thing when I do movie reviews and TV reviews. What I think of Marvel and DC movies might be completely different to you, but I always want to hear what you guys think. And that's why I respect the African Guna. He's got a great football insight. And please subscribe to his channel as well. The description's on the on his name tag there. What have we got here? Look, we're saying he likes, and Style is saying Arteta likes Reece Nelson, and Alex has just dropped the mic and said he likes our number 10 too. But also Arteta likes winning, and winning is the only way that Mikel Arteta is going to keep his job, and therefore he would not put out a team that he didn't think was going to bring home the 3 points. Ebony, what would be your position on who would be the two biggest oh no, I've done that with you, haven't I already?
No.
Okay, right. So Ebony,
what two impact players are two? What the surprise?
Your score predict. Oh yes, because I've already done that. So I'm doing the biggest surprise now, aren't I? Yeah, I've already done that. So who's going to be the biggest surprise? African Guna coming off the bench. You said it was.
I haven't said mine yet, but just one thing I want to say in regards to Eddie Nketiah for you, Apollo. I said this last week. If Nketiah comes on against Man City and he scores, listen, I'll bow down to you and I'll accept and I'll change my perspective. But until that happens, as Bertram has said, our position at the moment is that he just isn't at the level that we would like him to be. Until he proves otherwise, the jury is still out there to decide. Now, in terms of obviously the biggest surprise, I think it has to be for me, Gwen. If Martinelli doesn't start, it will be Martinelli. But if Martinelli does start, for me, it's Guendouzi.
Yeah, Guendouzi is the same for me as well. That would be. And what's your prediction? What do you think it's going to be?
I said 2-1 or 3-2. We win by 1 goal. Definitely not keeping a clean sheet, unfortunately.
Yeah, I went for 2-2. I went for a 2-2 draw, but it's going to be tough. So you're going for 2-1, and who would be your two biggest? Who would be your surprise package if they started? If you saw a name like Mustafi.
Oh,
If you saw a name on the team sheet,
would it be the name or would it be the position? For me, if Saka started as a CDM, that would be very surprising for me. But if Mustafi starts, I mean, I'm just gonna shake my head, to be honest. I mean, it's not a big deal to be fair. I mean, there's not much difference between all of our center backs. It's not a make it or break it for me. I think it's more about our attacking players that Arteta chooses, because we need to be attacking. We can't sit back and let Man City come at us. We've done that against many big teams, and we know we don't have the team to do that. We get smacked up, so we need to be going. We need to have a balance, but be more attacking.
Yeah, how many times have we gone away at Anfield and been blown out? Where are the goals against these big teams? This is the thing that really winds me up. And if we start Xhaka in the midfield at holding, you essentially just throw in your skirt up and say, "Come on, lads."
If Xhaka was to start on Wednesday, I'd be pissed.
I'd be devastated.
But don't be surprised. I'd be pissed too, but don't be surprised, because over the last 2 years we've been wanting him out of the team, and he always is in it.
Yeah,
but the thing is, we have.
When has Xhaka been benched? When has Xhaka been benched?
When he messed up, he was benched. He has been.
No. Based on performance, not when he had a row to find. When is he being benched based on performance?
There's a saying, Bertram, in business: if nothing changes, nothing changes. That's all I'm saying. You play the same players against the same big teams, and you're gonna. Why do you think we've got some guys here like Nitesh and Alex who are saying we're gonna lose 3-1? They're saying that because the establishment of Arsenal, which is Xhaka and the same old serial offenders that make the same old mistakes, they get on the pitch and they will fail you. They failed Wenger, they failed Emery, and they are going to fail Arteta. There's no two ways about it.
They've even failed Ljungberg. So at the end of the day,
so Wenger,
we shouldn't be too surprised if Xhaka starts.
Ljungberg, Wenger, Emery, Arteta have all played Xhaka.
Yes.
When he has to have the role with the fans, they've all played him. Now we're not in training. We're not sure what they're looking for in that role. I'm sure it's not really Xhaka, but it's what they think, given what they have, that he's the best person that fit that role. I'm sure that's what each are thinking. They're not all the same. They don't all think the same, yet they come.
Mute.
Yeah, hold on a second. I thought that was me for a second.
You're on mute.
Yeah. Ebony, finish off your point.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
I thought that was me. I looked down at my mic. I was like, "Don't let this happen again, please." My system's running perfect on audio now. I don't need this shit right now.
I think we shouldn't be too surprised if, as they're called, the old establishment are chosen. If they are, we can basically kiss goodbye to any chance of even trying to relinquish a Champions League spot.
I would go as far to say, if we play those same serial offenders, I don't think we're going to win this game. I think we'll probably lose 2-0, maybe 3-1. I agree with the other guys. Tony is hard at work there, man. Tony, who would be the biggest surprise for you in the team sheet? If you saw that name on the team sheet, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this." Who would that be for you?
What is it?
Hang on a second.
Socrates, left back.
Oh,
that's another good call.
Geez, Socrates would be. Yeah, I would have to say that would be the biggest shot ever to see Socrates at right back. I don't think I could be shocked by anyone else in all honesty.
Suarez?
Again,
no, Martinez in goal would be a shot.
Yeah, I mean they're all real crazy in scenarios. I've got a 20-man squad because you're gonna have 9 substitutes, yeah? And I wouldn't be shocked to see any of those 20 men in the starting lineup. I mean, the 20th, the very last of my 20th is Ozil. And I would be surprised if I saw him start, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the bench.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say if Ozil and Xhaka starts, we won't win this game. That would be it for me. I don't think we'll win.
Because I didn't do my surprise shocks. So I will basically say I wouldn't be shocked if anybody that we haven't named in the team started, because we have a propensity to do that. We have this habit of fielding players where every single game is what the F, and so whoever isn't chosen as the first team player that we've chosen today, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
So, guys, that's it. I just want to say thank you to my panel. Great show tonight, guys. We got a lot fit in. We're going to be back Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and we're going to talk about the events of the game and do a game review straight after the final whistle's blown. So, guys, in the panel, thank you for tonight. You can find Bertram where? Where can we find you, Bertram?
101.
101 forums on Facebook. And guys, remember, the Facebook page is Arsenal #101. If you're not joined, please join now. The African Gooner, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Le African Gooner and on YouTube Le African Gooner. And the last thing I wanted to say, I mean, please Arsenal, I just don't want a beating, anything but a beating. Like I'm really looking forward to this. We've spent 2 hours. I'm all pumped up. I just don't want to, we get our heart broken all the time. I'm hoping it's going to be different.
I'm sorry. I'm confused. I think we're going to win 3-2 or 2-1. Then he's saying, please don't get a beating. So you have no confidence. Apollo.
No, it's because you
No. When you ask the question, When you ask the question, it's the question. What does your heart tell you, and what does your head tell you?
Yeah, my heart tells me.
What the score? Yes.
Yeah. My heart tells me, obviously, because I'm an Arsenal fan, 3-2, but my mind says we're losing 3-0. Man City 100% is going to win this game. But my heart says...
That's the question going forward. Apollo, that's the question. What does your head say and what your heart says?
Yeah. Hey, Bertram, you let all the air out of the room, man. That's... Oh, God. Hey, listen, guys. Ebony, where can we find you?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah.
And the radio show as well. She has her own radio show, guys, on the
Yes,
Sunday,
I need to get you on one of my radio shows, Apollo and Tony and Bertram and African Gooner.
Yeah, it was tough today because I got to do family time, innit? So my daughter, I had to pick up my daughter from university. I did a barbecue outside. I spent all day in the back garden doing a barbecue and playing Q-Tip and Tribe Called Quest all day. So, I've been kind of crazy today. Tony, where can we find you, bro?
You can find me at Pugilist Boy on the Instagram, on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and you can find this little kid at Kyron's Crazy Adventure Channels on YouTube.
Yeah, I love his channel, man. Listen, guys, look at him getting all shy. Guys, thank you very much. And James is saying Bertram on fire. We'll see you all here on Wednesday. And guys in the chat room as well, thank you. Always a pleasure for you guys to join the podcast. We do this because of you. You're the one that drives this narrative, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the super chat money and the donations towards the channel. Thanks for all of your input. We love you guys. Amazing to have you. And we'll see you on Wednesday night. Can't wait to hear what you guys are saying after the show. Please hit the like button to this video. Yeah, because a like means that I'll be a recommended video to all the other sport channels and Arsenal channels. So hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. See you guys later. Peace out. Let's do this, man. Let's turn City over. Nice one, guys.